It's now time for Ermanni and Edwards with Maz, live on the Woodward Sports Network. Every day, 2 to 4 p.m. Starring Ryan Ermanni, Michigan great and former NFL baller Braylon Edwards, and of course, Tom Mazaway. Let's talk some sports.
Hey, let's go! Friday show, March 1st, 2024. Ermanni and Edwards with Maz. Woodward Sports Network, woodwardsports.com, fox2detroit.com, and the Fox Local app. If you have not downloaded that on your smart TV yet, please do so. It's a free app, Roku, Fire TV. On your smart TV, you could watch us every day from 2 to 4 live. And, of course, right here on YouTube, if you're watching us on YouTube, we say thank you, hello, and good afternoon to you, Braylon Edwards.
Man, it's been a hell of an afternoon, just to say the least.
I guess so.
You go Rambo.
Man, a little bit of a situation, huh?
Yeah, it was an altercation. Pete, you got the pics? You got the pics. Put them up there. Ladies and gentlemen, it might be a little bit graphic, so just bear
Not
with.
Those are the
Not
JB picks, wrong picks, but that's all right.
It doesn't happen. It's not a big deal.
Probably better not to show those pics.
It's not
Either way.
Yeah,
I didn't know.
Yeah, I was at the gym, was working out like I
Pete,
typically do. You said what?
He's not on that text
Yeah,
chain.
60 seconds in.
He's not on that
He's
text
not
chain.
on that.
I'm already been under the bus.
We're not
Pete.
throwing Pete under the bus.
Pete,
Just 30 seconds into the show, we're
Reparations.
not throwing Pete under the bus.
Reparations.
Yeah, he is not on the text chain, so we had a little bit.
I'll send them to the WhatsApp.
Right.
I got it.
Yeah, send that in there.
Yeah.
But so yeah, I was working out the YMCA today, which I usually do. And after my workout, I'm going into the locker room and sitting down. I was in there for couldn't have been longer than a minute. Ryan, Maz, JB, Pete. I'm sitting down. I hear altercation going on between the guy that was playing music loud, somebody that didn't want to play the music loud. Once again, Ryan, it's none of my business. I can care less what these guys are talking about. Then it escalates, gets louder. I hear some tussling. And then I hear some fists. I'm hearing some fighting. Keep in mind, ladies and gentlemen, I work out at the YMCA. The average age at the locker room is 62,
Right.
63, 64. Like I don't even go in the sauna because I'm
Right, you don't want to
scared.
see anything.
100%. So when I'm hearing this tussle, I'm like, what two geriatric guys are back here fighting?
Right.
Like, this is very petty. And so I'm listening to scuffling. Then I can hear fists. Still, as a black man, none of my business. But then I heard a thud. It sounded like somebody had ran somebody's head into something, a locker, a counter, and something. So I come around the corner. There's blood all over the counter. The guy, the older gentleman, 62 to 65 or so, is laying on the counter, like hands down, like his head's on the counter. And I see the young guy that he was fighting. Look, he was put together.
What about how young?
About 25.
Okay.
He's about 25 because the lifeguard that ended up
Dang.
coming in there said they went to high school together some years ago. I think he said he's a year older than me, and I'm 24. So about 25, 26, put together. He looks like Berkeley. Like, to be honest, about 5'7", put together. And it's crazy, man. And so he's laying there in this pool of blood, and I'm thinking it's over. I'm thinking that the guy, the kid, he's a kid to me. I'm 41. I'm thinking that he's going to go under him, get his phone, get his headset. Now, this is the guy laid out on the floor. This is after everything happens, and that's the blood on the counter I was speaking of. So I'm thinking that he's going to get his phone, to get his whatever it was, and then I'm going to check on the guy and say, hey, are you okay? That's not what he did, Ryan and Maz. He proceeds to grab the back of this guy's head by his hair and was about to smack. And this, you can see the laceration. If it's a live,
This poor guy's just trying to go work out.
he's trying to go work out. He's trying to get in the sauna. Like, at the end of the day, he grabs the back of his head by his hair, lifts his head up to smash his head on the counter. What would make you so effing mad about music or somebody saying something to smash it? Ryan, God put me there for a reason. I'm not over exaggerating. I swear to God on my soul.
You saved his life.
I grabbed this guy by the back of his neck. I slammed him on the ground. I already told the police this, so this is nothing.
Right.
I slammed him on the ground. I picked him up again, and I restrained him. It's a good legal term. Restrained him, and I pushed him up against the wall. When I tell you, when I looked in his eyes, there was nothing there. You know the infamous quote from the Halloween movie?
Oh, yeah.
Dr. Loomis?
Yep, Michael Myers.
He said it's black. It's an infinity, a sea of black. That's all I saw. So you could tell this poor kid was on meds, didn't take them, whatever, don't care. He looked me in the eyes and said, "You're assaulting me." He completely was oblivious to what he had just done. Completely oblivious to what he had just done. And then once it hit him, you can see he realized, oh, I'm in trouble. And then you saw he did this, he got down, and then he ran and grabbed his phone. And I told him, I was like, you better get the F out of here because they coming for you. Cops came about 5 minutes later, and the lifeguard comes and said he knew who he was, shared the guy's name. At first, the YMCA people that came in late, they thought that he and I were tussling. They didn't even see the guy in the back. But luckily, there was an older gentleman that went to the University of Michigan that I see every day. Shout out to Rob. And then there was one person from the Y that I know as well that saw the whole thing. And then when I left, everybody was like, thank you, thank you, thank you. But in 2 seconds, I was almost the bad guy too. But like, I was shook up for a second. I've been in a lot of fights, but never have I almost seen somebody, like, I didn't understand it. Like, the guy was already passed out. And he proceeds to grab him by the back of the hair and he was about to dribble his head like a basketball, but God put me there, man.
Well,
man.
thank God you were there, man. Thank God you were there. And you saved somebody's life today. That is an incredible position to be in.
I'm sure you'll get a call from that gentleman.
I'm not over-exaggerating by anything, ladies and by the way. I've been in a ton of fights. I beat up a lot of people. Like, this is no over-exaggerating. If he would have hit his head on that counter, it was over. You know those counters at the gyms, they're put in there so well. If he hits his head on that, it would have been the second thud. He already had a laceration, so it'd have been lights out.
Wow. So the police came. You talked to the police.
Yeah. Talked to like 5-6 cops. Gave my story, wrote it out, and my hand was still kind of shaking. Right. When I was trying to write my story, I'm like, you guys already got my story 5 times. I gotta write this bleep out.
Right.
That's terrible.
That is wild.
Yeah, but here we are. Everybody's alive. They got his name. They're probably gonna catch him, and I made it to work.
That's right.
Happy
you were
Friday.
here today. Happy Friday to you.
Happy first of March.
Right. Tom Mazaway, good afternoon to you.
I had a good day, too.
Well, tell me about your. Okay, this is Friday with Maz now.
You ready for this?
Yes.
I'm ready.
My kid calls me late last night, actually texts me, and I'm sleeping. I don't see it till this morning at 7:30. Dad, I'm okay, but my phone was stolen. My ID was stolen.
Oh.
She got pickpocketed at one of the hangouts, I guess, down at in Florida. She's there on spring break. My kid's careful, too, but they opened her purse and they took her phone, and she's got one of those sleeves on the phone that's got all her ID and cards in it and her money. So that was gone. We tried to track the phone. Of course, it's off. And then trying to get through to my carrier, AT&T. What a joke. Finally did after hours. Got her phone turned off. They turned my phone off by accident. That took an extra 50 minutes.
Damn.
And then I had to call the banks. You don't get anybody. You don't get agents
don't talk
anymore.
to real people anymore.
You don't talk. I mean, American Express used to be 30 seconds. Boom, you had someone. Took me 5 minutes to get someone. Bank of America.
Still lucky.
Bank of America never talked to anybody. Never. Just back and forth on chats and this, robots. Finally, literally at 1 o'clock, from 7:30 in the morning to 1 o'clock in the afternoon, I got all of her stuff turned off and shut down. And now we got to get her home without an ID tomorrow from Florida.
At least she's in Florida and not in Mexico.
Amen.
That'd be a little bit different.
I hate spring break.
Yeah.
I absolutely despise spring break.
You know, they closed the beaches down in Miami, too, by the way, because of how crazy spring breakers have been.
Unbelievable.
This year and every year at spring break, but they literally closed the beaches down in Miami.
I'm just fed up with it as a father.
Yeah.
I'm fed up with it. And I bowled great last night.
Tell me about the bowling, Tom, man.
Ray, you got to hear this, bro.
Okay, hear me up. Get me in.
I threw 197 first game. We won.
Okay.
Not bad. I think I threw 6 strikes. Second game, I threw 8 strikes, but I missed 2 spares. Wound up.
You missed 2 spares?
2 spares.
How in the world do you do
Yep,
that?
how do you do that?
Come
Third
on.
game.
How embarrassing.
Third game, I'm rocking and rolling. 3 spares in a row. 9 strikes to end the game.
Get out of here.
Yeah, for a 268. 268. My friend John behind me, John Osborne, 300.
Get out of here.
300.
On
Me
your
and him
team
back
or
to
your
back.
friend?
My friend, my teammate.
Oh.
My teammate.
So did you guys pull into first place, or you guys still
We're
at
still
second chomping at
we're
the
still
bit?
2 points back.
Okay.
Because the other team wound up winning as well. But how about that?
Did you
John
get-
Osborne, 300.
Did you get any mystery balls?
No mystery balls for me, wound up with a 678 series.
Oh my God!
And I finished third
closer
on my team with that score.
So does that envelope?
Your team can
is
shoot.
that envelope is a little bit?
It's going down. envelope is going
bowling
down.
Cash is
Bowling. You know what? If we win this half, that'll pump it right back
Oh
up.
my!
But you know what's
gosh.
interesting about that, Ryan, is you're not as angry when that envelope gets lighter and lighter when you're bowling well.
Yes.
Am I right, man?
I wish I could bowl right now.
Like you're bowling well, it's kind of dang, I'm not winning, but we're winning essentially. So yeah, it's like that. It's a great consolation prize, if you will.
Oh my gosh! Pete Spivak is with us today.
I'm sorry, Pete and JB. I didn't get
And
a chance to
so
say hello.
is,
What's up, boys?
for the
I'm
final
sorry.
time, Jeremy Bryant, the great JB, is
You
working
son of
his
a gun,
final
you.
show with us today. JB, look, there isn't an employee here that is more beloved than this guy,
I would
Jeremy Bryant. There isn't a guy here that has worked as hard and never says a word
Nope.
than Jeremy Bryant. This guy, like you want to work around people who are just positive, make you smile all day. This guy makes everybody in this building
Amen.
smile.
Amen.
Whether it's the Woodward Sports, the Lady Janes, the Birmingham Roast. Jeremy Bryant, we are absolutely going to miss you, man. Tell us a little bit about what's happening with you and what you're about to do.
Well, I appreciate all those kind words, and I love you guys a ton. But, yeah, this will be my last show with you all. I'll still be in the office and around the studio. I'm still doing the morning show, but I got a new gig that, kind of takes up a lot of my afternoons. So I'll still be around.
You can tell them what you're doing.
Oh, I'll be doing on your radio dial. I'll be doing some total weather and traffic. So if you guys are in your car listening on the radio, you might be able to hear me sometime.
Absolutely. Got to get that weather and traffic. That's the only reason to listen to the
You know
radio.
how he got it? He got because doing that Planet Fitness read he's been doing. He had practice.
See? Only $10?
Only $10.
Oh, man. You've been solid on that read, man. No, seriously, JB, we're so happy for you. And, man, you are a light in this building.
We
and
love you, man.
I'm glad that you're going to still be a part of the morning show, and it will fit better with your schedule. That is a huge loss for our show.
Yeah.
You are the all-everything at this network, and we love you greatly, and we're your biggest fans, so we just want you to be happy.
Hey, I'm your guys' biggest fans, and you never know. I mean, in a pinch or an emergency, I might pop back
man.
up.
JB, we
I'm always
appreciate you, man.
available.
Like you've been a constant. Like whenever we've seen you, whether it's especially on location. Like when I see you on location, I know the show is gonna be fine.
Right.
When we see you in here, whether it's in that booth, whether it's that booth, man, I know that everything's gonna be good, man. It's been a great ride. Like you said, it's not over. Like
Yeah, it's not
you're
over.
moving to another show. The hell with the morning. So I'm just joking. I love you guys as well. But I
Talking
love
about
you. You know you're
Broder
my
and
guy.
Kool-Aid or cooler than us?
You know that we get to talk about. Rest in peace to the original meat sauce, Virgil. Virgil passed
man.
away.
Yeah,
Real
RIP
Virgil.
to
But anyway,
Virgil.
you my guy. You know you got my number if you ever need me.
Oh yeah, you know what? You guys got my number as well. If you ever need anything,
I got your
you know, you know I'm always available to help out when I can.
If you need a security guard, I'm in the hire business right now. I'm in the hire
I'll hit
business
you up.
right now.
I'll hit you up.
Absolutely. But for fans of the network, you can check out JB with the morning guys, Broder,
They got some good
Kool-Aid.
graphics in that morning show too.
Absolutely,
Sheesh.
man. They got the
Flannel.
flannel. They got the graphics. They got it all going on that morning
that looks
show
good,
now.
man.
We
Wake
got
up
the-
Woodward. Check that out.
We gotta add some stuff to our situation. Jeez Louise.
Pete.
Oh jeez.
Better step it up, Pete. Better step it up, Pete. Damn it. Better step it up.
No, guys, good stuff. Hey, great show for you coming up today. Coming up in about a little bit less than 20 minutes from now, we'll talk to Anthony Broome, covers Michigan for the Wolverine on 3. Anthony Broome talking a little NFL Combine. Feels like a little bit of a Michigan day today. J.J. McCarthy spoke to the media. Blake Corum spoke to the media. There'll be some workouts coming up later today, so we'll talk to Anthony Broome about that. Interesting, too, J.J. McCarthy confirmed who he's going to be meeting with. And amongst the teams he's going to be meeting with, Braylon,
Chargers.
Chicago,
Okay.
Washington, New England.
1, 2, 3.
Those are picks 1, picks 2, picks 3. Now, I don't know if he's going to get picked 1, 2, or 3. Probably not. But at the very least, J.J. McCarthy is in the conversation with those teams
Yeah.
where they feel a need to do their due diligence on this player that feels like a little bit of an enigma for draft analysts, for draft experts, for people that really have no idea how to gauge who and what J.J. McCarthy is in the NFL draft, how he will project in the NFL because of the fact that, Michigan's offense did not require him to do all of the things that maybe a Caleb Williams did, or a Drake May, or certainly a Jaden Daniels did. So we'll
did
see.
some workouts yesterday in the hallway.
Absolutely.
In the hallway.
That is pretty cool.
We can show you that.
This is like Schembechler Hall,
yes.
right? I mean, J.J. McCarthy throwing balls to Blake Corum in the hallway of the hotel.
Look at that.
That's a nice hotel. When I was at the Combine, we stayed at the train station now, so it's definitely an upgrade for those guys over there. Looks like you had some zip on that pass right there. But this is great, though. If you're Chicago, you're New England, or you're the Washington Commanders, look, man, you want to interview all the quarterbacks in this process because, like you said, there's no such thing as a short thing. There's no such thing as Caleb Williams going number 1, Drake May going number 1, Jaden Daniels going number 1 or 1, 2, 3. You want to vet these quarterbacks. You want to interview them. You want to talk to them. You want to get to know the player. You can watch the film, you can watch the workout, but you want to get to know the player well. And Ryan, this is where you always are right about this process. He is going to interview through the roof. Harbaugh has raised some amazing kids, and I know they're 18, 19, 20, but that's what a coach's job is in college football, is to help raise young men, or turn these teenagers into young men. I think he's done an excellent job with J.J. McCarthy, and it's going to be interesting. Because there is no short thing. There is no short thing coming into this year. Drake May, a lot of question marks. Jaden Daniels, a lot of question marks after the season, after even winning the Heisman. So he's going to interview well. And definitely, if you're New England, you had a lot of success with a guy from Michigan for the better part of 21 years.
No doubt.
Hey, you see the teams, guys. We put them up earlier, but Chicago, Washington, New England, Denver, Vegas, Minnesota, Seattle, and Tampa. I said it from the get-go. He's not getting past Minnesota. I'm saying it right now. Minnesota at 11 is going to be where J.J. McCarthy goes. That's my prediction.
I like that.
I do like that. Now, I'm not as concerned when he goes. I am concerned where he goes. The team for me where I would absolutely love to see him go is the Denver Broncos, because I think
they picked 12th behind Minnesota.
Absolutely. I think Sean Payton could get the best version of J.J. McCarthy that there is to get.
Yeah.
And if you're going to have a great career, you want to be with a guy like Sean Payton. You want to be with a guy, I think Kevin O'Connell at Minnesota
be terrific.
would be terrific. I wouldn't like to see him at Minnesota because I'd have to root against him a little bit with the Lions being in the same division.
Think about Caleb to Chicago, him to Minnesota, Jordan Love in Green Bay, and we got Jared Goff.
I would absolutely love to see him in Denver. I think that's a spot. I think Chicago, Washington, New England is a place I wouldn't want to go at all.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, maybe the Commander side of things because Cliff Kingsbury is there. But
you got to be that type of quarterback, though, right?
100%. But sticking with the Minnesota deal, Minnesota is a perfect fit for J.J. McCarthy. Look, Kevin O'Connell's been there. This will be year 3 coming up. You saw what he did 2 years ago, got to the playoffs, 11-0 on one-score games last year. Some injuries, some rebuilding, if you will. You look at this. They're going to re-sign Kirk Cousins. It just makes sense to re-sign. They'll re-sign Kirk Cousins. They'll get 2 years out of him. He'll come back. He'll play well because they're a team right now that is still in the thick of things.
They can compete.
They're not a Super Bowl team, but they can make the playoffs, if you will. But this is where I want him to go. Ryan and Mike, this is where I said JJ for me at the end of the season was a guy that was tweener, beginning of the top of the second, maybe the first pick in the second round, to maybe 20 in the first round. You get him in Minnesota. You got Kevin O'Connell. You see how Kirk Cousins was the first year with Kevin O'Connell. He was lights out. He loved the offense. But then you get a guy in Kirk Cousins who can help work with JJ. That's where you need him. I need somebody to work with JJ. I don't think he's ready to take over an NFL franchise right now. But 2 years under Kirk Cousins, hell, maybe 1 year, and then maybe the second year he takes over, much like Patrick Mahomes did for Alex Smith. I think it's really good for him to have somebody, a leader, a veteran. And I think you can trust a guy like Kirk Cousins. You can argue about the big time games or the prime time games, but he's an elite quarterback in terms of yards, passing, and understanding the offense in the NFL.
The NFL is such a win now league. I think you're absolutely right.
Yeah.
if for as high as I am on J.J. McCarthy, if he had the benefit of sitting behind a Kirk Cousins for a year or two, or sitting behind a Russell Wilson in Denver even for a year or two, that would only make him that much better.
How about behind Stafford?
But behind Matthew Stafford in L.A., that would only make him better. Unfortunately, that's just not the way the league works anymore. If you're taking a guy at 8, you're playing him. If you're taking a guy at 12, you're playing him. If you're taking a guy at 11, you're playing him because
the Packers didn't.
Well, the Packers were in a unique situation because they had a Hall of Famer at quarterback. Of the teams that I mentioned, there is no generational player in front of that guy.
Well, Stafford.
I agree, but I believe that you said
Matthew Stafford is not Aaron Rodgers in his prime. Aaron Rodgers is a 3-time MVP
I understand
of the
that.
league.
He's a Super Bowl winner.
The majority of the teams that you're talking about, like they needed a quarterback then and now. You look at the Indianapolis Colts last year. You look at insert the 2020 draft. All those teams in the top 10, they needed a quarterback right then. You look at the Minnesota Vikings. It's the same situation as Alex Smith and Patrick Mahomes. You draft You draft Patrick Mahomes 15. You have Alex Smith, who's gotten you to an AFC championship, who's made the playoffs 5 years in a row for the Kansas City Chiefs and was on his last year. You got Patrick Mahomes to sit behind Alex Smith, who was already a very good quarterback, a Pro Bowl caliber quarterback. That's the same thing in Minnesota. You got Kirk Cousins, Pro Bowl caliber quarterback, and also Kevin O'Connell, who was a quarterback in this league, one of my teammates with the New York Jets. I think that is a unique situation, like you mentioned.
And honestly, too, I mean, is there a better spot? All these teams we're mentioning, I think really
it's a dome.
Really, to highlight my point, look at the New York Jets. Wouldn't the New York Jets be the perfect place for J.J. McCarthy?
Of course.
To sit behind Aaron Rodgers for a year or 2 years.
But he won't let that.
But again, not only will Aaron Rodgers not allow that, the New York Jets wouldn't. That wouldn't be the case for the New York Jets. And that wouldn't be the case for really anybody in the NFL that is in a win-now mode. I mean, Minnesota feels like they're in a little bit of a win now if they want to re-sign Kirk Cousins. They've got an opportunity in the NFC North division. I think that division is even though the Lions are top dogs right now, I think that's an open division. Does Chicago have the ability to draft a quarterback and sit him behind a veteran for a year or two, even if they take Caleb Williams at number 1? No. What about Washington? No. New England. You think Gerard Mayo has he takes a quarterback at 3? And do you think Gerard Mayo has the luxury of signing a veteran quarterback and letting him play?
They're looking at Flacco already.
Right, letting him play for 2 years. But you know what's going to happen when Joe Flacco? Well, here's the deal: if you sign Joe Flacco, you are so far away, you can't take your quarterback this year.
They are far away, and you got to take a quarterback if you're New England. If you don't believe in Mac Jones, you've got to take your future. They're done. They're starting from scratch.
What about building it another way? I think
they have a terrific defense already. They already have a terrific defense. Yeah. I'm just thinking that New England's taking a quarterback. They're not going to stick with Mac Jones. That's the word on the street, at least.
Problem is, too, like, Braylon, all these coaches don't get 3 years anymore to wait and develop some guy. They need to win this year. And you know when you take a player at 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and they don't play, they sit on the bench that doesn't help me win this year. And there's so much pressure to win this year and make the playoffs this year. You can't possibly take a player that high and not play him.
Yeah, I disagree. Just in the Minnesota situation, look, they're not a lottery pick. They're not 1, 2, 3. They're not 4, 5. Hell, they're not top 7. They're the 11th pick with a quarterback that they know can get them to the playoff. And Kirk Cousins. I gave him a little bit too much credit on his age. I was saying he was more so 38, 39. Kirk Cousins is 35. He's coming off an Achilles injury. Said that the process is going well for him.
We got a video we can show you. Go ahead, Pete. Play.
You can play as I talk. He'll be your quarterback this year. He'll likely put them in situations to be a playoff contender. You get JJ sitting behind him. You don't have to guarantee his money for the following year. You don't have to. This looks good work. He's doing it on tennis surface, where this is one of the surfaces where you really want to see how somebody is moving, how they're progressing along. This is a stiff surface, so if he looks that good right there, he'll be ready by the time the season starts. You get him, you don't have to guarantee that second year, and then you have J.J. McCarthy, who's going to be a long run type situation. You got Kirk Cousins for 1 year. You get J.J. to sit out 1 year. You still have 4 years with him on a rookie deal. So I don't think in Minnesota's situation that is so much. We need that guy right now. I think because you have Kirk Cousins and it's a longer move.
Speaking of Kirk Cousins, let me ask you this question, guys. Speaking of win now mode, there's a new head coach there in Atlanta. What about why wouldn't you just? Let me ask it this way: is it more appealing for you if you're Atlanta to go out there and make a free agent signing of Kirk Cousins for 2 years than it is to trade up and trade out of your pick to get Justin Fields?
I'm not going to get Kirk Cousins. I know I said he's not 38, 39, but he's still a 35-year-old quarterback coming off of an Achilles injury. And we play on field turf down here in Atlanta. I'm not going to get Kirk Cousins because I pretty much think he's gotten injured once. He's probably going to get injured again, knock on wood. Don't want Kirk. He's a great guy. Don't want him to get injured. But if I'm an owner, if I'm a head coach, that's not a move I can pull, because if he gets injured, everyone in the building, including myself, is going to say, what? We knew that we shouldn't have went that route. So if I'm Atlanta, I can't take a chance on a Kirk Cousins who's just coming off an Achilles, and he's over 35 years old, because he'll be 36 when the season starts.
Atlanta's getting their quarterback. They're getting Justin Fields.
Yeah.
They're going to sit at 8 and take the best player available. Might be a great offensive lineman. Yeah. Hell, if they didn't have Kyle Pitts, it might be Brock Bowers, for crying out loud. I mean, can you imagine what they could do with that pick if it all goes well? They're getting Justin Fields, and Chicago's not getting that first-round draft pick. They're going to get a second-round pick, maybe a third-round pick, maybe something next year. But Justin Fields is going to be the quarterback of the Falcons.
How desperate are the Falcons, though? Because I think that pick depends on how desperate you think the Falcons are. You're dangling this carrot, which is Justin Fields, who's from Atlanta, by the way, much like Caleb Williams is from D.C. You're dangling this carrot that you saw how he was towards the end of the season. You talk about the locker room, how they all love him. The coaches have nothing bad to say about him. And this is before you're trying to trade him. They didn't have anything to say about him during the season. The players love him. You saw once he got DJ Moore, once he got Cole Kmet going, looked like he trusted himself a little more, ran a little less in the pocket. You provide him with some defense, he looked even a little bit better. So I think if you're Atlanta, it's about how desperate that team is. Like, where's that number one pick? How can we make and funnel something? And also, man, maybe it's not number one this year. Maybe it's the number one pick next year.
It's almost – I think it is worth exploring, too, though, and instead of signing – because if you trade for Justin Fields, you're going to sign him to a mega long-term contract.
He gets a deal.
And you are going to be wrapped up for a long time. If it doesn't work out, you're done. This way, if you go after Kirk Cousins – you're really working on a 2-year deal max. And you don't have to give up any draft capital.
So you wanted to draft a quarterback?
No, I'm saying sign Kirk Cousins.
I know, but you're not going to pick 8th all the time.
Well, quarterbacks are like, you can get a quarterback these days. Look at Justin Fields is out there.
Justin Fields is still in the contract for 1 more year.
Yeah, but you can get, but you're not going to trade for him without signing him to an extension.
Okay, but
I think.
Okay, that's fine. But it's similar to Jordan Love last year, if you will. They extended him based on, all right, look, he's our starting quarterback. We can't have him making rookie salary money. They extended him. And I think last year they paid him $15 to $19 million, Maz. Correct me if I'm wrong. Justin Fields hasn't done anything to break the bank. Justin Fields has done nothing to say, I'm worthy of $40 million a year. I'm worthy of $45 million a year. You sign Justin Fields, hey, maybe you give him a 3-year extension along the lines of how Seattle did Geno Smith. Hey, we'll give you 3 years at $110 million, or give him $30 a year or $90 million. Like, he's done nothing to earn that $30 million. Yeah. I don't think he turns it down.
I guess the point I'm trying to make to you, Maz, is like, I don't think quarterbacks are as, oh my gosh, I have to draft my quarterback now or else I'm screwed for the next decade. Guys like Justin Fields are up. Maybe in 2 years, a guy like Hendon Hooker will be up, or Jared Goff. Yeah. You know what I mean? There's so much movement among quarterbacks now. There will always be quarterbacks available is kind of what I'm saying.
But what we do a few years ago when we were touting Malik Willis, Lions aren't going to be picking this high anymore.
Yeah, I know.
Lions aren't going to be picking this high anymore.
And we were wrong.
Yeah, about that one.
Right?
Yeah, but we're
Either way.
so is a lot of other people.
Very good. Hey, guys, we're going to talk a little NFL Combine next with some Michigan and to get some insight on some of these Michigan players. 18 of them at the NFL Combine. Our good friend Anthony Broome will join us next. Covers Michigan for the Wolverine on 3. We'll do it next, but first a message from us here at WSN, Pete.
That's right. It's Woodward Sports. We have a new morning show. Start your day with Wake Up Woodward, Monday through Friday, 8 to 10 a.m. live on Woodward Sports. Join Kool-Aid, Flannel Sam, Broder, JB, and KG every morning as they cover all of Detroit's sports talk, banter, and live fan interaction, all on Detroit's #1 sports network, Woodward Sports.
Every year, after a cold and dreary winter, Metro Detroiters come together for 2 things: Tigers baseball and the best damned party in the world. A new season of Tigers baseball is here, and we're bringing in the new season as only Woodward Sports knows how. Broadcasting live from the biggest party. It's the Grand Slam Festival at the Detroit Opera House. Come party with 4,000 Detroit sports fans, starting with Wake Up Woodward and rolling into Big D Energy. This is a party you don't want to miss, with Detroit's best DJs, food trucks, and of course, shots. Get your tickets now at GrandSlamFest.com. 21 plus. See you April 5th at the Grand Slam Fest.
What's the most convenient place to get that big fitness energy?
It's Planet Fitness.
Join today for just $1 down, $10 a month. With over 2,400 locations and equipment for every workout, you can get in, get energized, and get going. And with free fitness training and most clubs open 24 hours, everyone belongs in the judgment-free zone. So join today for $1 down, $10 a month, no commitment, cancel anytime.
You smell that? That's Brad Holmes cooking. And the off-season smells good. Woodward Sports.
Hey guys, I want to tell you about the Woodward Sports merchandise. It is available on woodwardsports.com. Just click on that shop tab. Affordable, comfortable, everything from hats, hoodies, t-shirts, sweaters, everything in between. Woodwardsports.com. Click on that shop tab. Guys, NFL Combine happening in Indianapolis now. Anthony Broome covers Michigan for the Wolverine on 3. Also on X at Anthony T. Broome. Joins us now. Anthony, how you doing, buddy?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me back.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely. Such a feels like, I think Jim Harbaugh said it feels like Schembechler Hall out there with 18 Michigan players out there. What's it like, Anthony? It feels like everywhere you turn there's a Michigan player.
Yeah, I mean, they're everywhere. I mean, there's 18 guys, like you said. When we got here, we actually got in a day late. First thing we see when we walked in was a couple of former Michigan staffers in Chargers gear. So right off the bat, I mean, you know, Michigan's pretty familiar with the city of Indianapolis by now, with how things have gone the last few years. But yeah, I mean, it does sort of feel that way. And I think for some of these guys, it does add a layer of comfort to, you know, what is a pretty stressful week. I mean, it's a job fair. It's a workout. It's, you know, you're getting grilled by teams. You're being pushed to your physical limit. So having those guys to kind of lean on and, you know, walk past each other in the hallways, and, you know, it does add a layer of familiarity to it. And, yeah, I think a lot of NFL teams are going to get, you know, some good players out of this as well.
How much do you think J.J. McCarthy can help himself legitimately by getting in and interviewing with these teams, and, of course, what's going to happen on the field when he throws?
Yeah, this is kind of the event where, you know, when we saw him declare for the draft, we're like, okay, well, the production, you know, was what it was. And it's not like it really was a knock against him. I mean, he was extremely efficient and put up numbers within the confines of that Michigan offense. But, you know, this was always kind of the few-day stretch that you circled to where, okay, like knowing that he's a guy that will interview extremely well, a team-first guy, you know, someone who you know, has always been about the bigger picture, never about himself. We figured those are boxes he'll check. And then athletically, like, you know, we know he's a good athlete. He's got a, you know, very talented arm. He's accurate. You know, he can make plays off script. So, you know, this is huge for him, given that, you know, I think everyone's pretty much in lockstep that you can sort of lock in those top three quarterbacks as Caleb Williams and Drake May and Jaden Daniels in whatever order you want to do it. But with those guys here and not throwing, it kind of does, give him that spotlight as maybe that next best guy that'll be working out on Saturday afternoon. So I really do think, he's not going to run the 40. He's not going to do, some of the athletic testing. It sounds like he has a hamstring thing going on, but if he throws well, I really do think that you might be locking this guy in as a potential top 10 pick. I think he's someone that teams might even maneuver for to make that happen. But don't let the production and don't let Michigan's offense fool you. This is a guy that these teams are much higher on than a lot of draft Twitter or those types of people are.
Anthony Broome, great to talk to you, man. It's been a minute. Lock in 11 for J.J. McCarthy. I'm telling you, man, him backing up Kirk Cousins for a year, because I don't think he'll make the 2 years. That's my pick. But look, man, we talk about the interview process so much. I think Dan Campbell's talked about the interview process. Ryan Ermanni has brought up the interview process. And all the Michigan guys will interview well, because look who their coach was, look what type of men they are. But with that said, man, look, Mass calls it the Underwear Olympics. That's what it is. It's the Underwear Olympics, and you got to perform. You look at what DJ Turner did a couple years ago. DJ Turner's performance at the Combine got him drafted in the first round. Who are some Michigan Wolverines that, in your estimation, are going to perform really well?
Yeah, I think one of them already has, in Chris Jenkins, who I thought had a really nice day yesterday. He'll be a guy to keep an eye on. A.J. Barner works out today, and I know, again, talk about the production or lack thereof. He's a guy similar to, Luke Schoonmaker, didn't have great production at Michigan, came to the Combine last year, measured in, really well, worked out extremely well, showed off his athleticism. I think A.J. Barner can be a guy that maybe doesn't make a leap into the second round, but is someone that might get drafted a lot earlier than people might expect. Mikey Sainristil has already kind of kicked off a day where, minutes before I hopped on here with you guys, he just did a 40-inch vertical jump at 5'9", 183. So he's someone that I think,
that's called
if
explosive.
he has a great day, that's someone that I think we're looking at, stock improving as well. So, definitely a handful of those guys. I think you can put JJ in that category as well, like we said. A couple guys didn't work out yesterday. A couple guys might not do as much, but Roman Wilson, Blake Corum, they'll work out tomorrow with J.J. McCarthy as well. And like I said, I think Roman Wilson said today that he's planning on running somewhere in the 4.2s. Like a 4.3 type of day would be disappointing for him. So I don't know how realistic that is, but these guys are ready to roll, and I think most of them will show out pretty well.
Yeah, I didn't see 4.2 speed, but at the same time, they didn't necessarily throw the ball down the field, so there was nothing to see, if you will, and I definitely believe in number one. I don't know why. You bring up Blake Corum. Here's an interesting question about him. The year before last, he has a knee, has surgery. He comes back last year. The year before that, he has an ankle. He has surgery, misses everything. He comes back at the end of that season. 4 years, a lot of carries, 2 injuries, 2 not serious injuries, but 1 serious injury and 1 kind of decent injury. How is that going to bode for him being a running back in a league that already does not value that position a lot? What do you think can that hinder him, or that, I'm trying to think of how to say this, do you think that will hinder him in this draft process?
Yeah, that's a position where you're already inherently kind of fighting an uphill battle because of how the league values or doesn't value running backs. That, he's a guy where you talk, it's kind of where the production discussion goes the other way. I mean, look at his Michigan career, extremely productive. But that doesn't necessarily translate into what teams are always looking for, right? And he does have those knee injuries. And again, I thought Michigan did a really good job keeping him fresh this year. I think that, by the end of the season, especially, he looked, the most like his vintage self that he has. So I think that's a positive for him going into this event. But he's a guy that, you would think would be, just based on what we watched over the last, 4 years, would be one of the first running backs off the board. But I wouldn't be surprised to see him maybe slide just a little bit because of the workload concerns, because he's a little bit undersized, and because, obviously the injuries on his resume. But, again, if he goes out and shows out and he wants to also show that he can be more of a threat to catch the ball out of the backfield, that could be something that keeps his stock fairly high. And I still think it is. He's probably a round 3, round 4 type of guy right now. But the athletic testing, I mean, this is going to be huge for him. Maybe the most consequential of any of the guys here at the Combine.
Hey, Ant, what's the buzz around Jim Harbaugh? I see him sitting in the stands. He's doing his own timer. He's talking to his players, hugging up on them. They picked number 5, man. Who knows what he's going to do, but what's the buzz around with Jim Harbaugh?
Yeah, I mean, he's extremely in his element, and I think that we've always seen, anytime there's any type sort of football showcase or scouting thing, whether it was the satellite camps at Michigan, whether it's the NFL Combine now. I mean, he is extremely comfortable with that whole setup and that whole ordeal. So again, it's we haven't really seen him since we've been here. I know he's been on TV with the stopwatch, and again, when you look at that number 5 pick, I don't know that any Michigan guys fit that bill. Obviously,
Sure.
They don't need a quarterback. I think you're probably, we were talking about this on the drive down. Who would be that Michigan guy that maybe he pounds the table for?
Yeah.
I think Blake Corum might be that guy, in the second, third round. Maybe it's Mikey Sainer still. Maybe it's, it's Chris Jenkins. We know that the way he wants to build a football team, they want to be physical. They want to be dominant up front on both lines of scrimmage. And he, again, it's a weird thing where he feels like he's probably where he should be. And that's not to say he was overqualified to coach at Michigan, but he's an NFL head coach, and Michigan was really fortunate to have him for the 9 years that they did, and to go out on a high note like that, and then to come here and be back in your element. I think it's kind of a dream scenario for him, really.
No doubt.
Hey, Anthony, I want to ask you a question, and I'm not even sure there's an answer to this yet because I feel like we are going in a completely new era of college football. But in years past, if you had a school drop 18 guys off at the NFL Combine, if I'm a high school player, I'm going to play at that school. What impact does having 18 guys at an NFL Combine in 1 year have on today's high school athlete or today's recruit? Or is everything now just about who can pay me the most money? Will Sharon Moore try to continue to have that transformational, not transactional experience in recruiting? How do you read this situation?
Yeah, I mean, certainly when you have the 18 guys there, I mean, that's historic. No one's ever, sent that level of guys. So immediately that's one of the best recruiting pitches you could have. So that's something that works in their favor. In terms of Sharon and NIL, I do think they're prioritizing it. I think that they really are working. They've hired a GM to kind of oversee the football operations, the transfer portal, and making some hires in the recruiting department. So I think they do understand, there can be a difference in a happy medium between, paying guys just to come or making sure you take care of your guys once they're here and once they perform, that you have an infrastructure, to make sure that those guys are taken care of. And, just with NIL in general, I think we are so far, out of, the toothpaste is so far out of the tube, to where I don't know that donor-funded NIL is something that's sustainable. I think we're already kind of seeing the cracks in that model. So, again, we are on the speeding freight train, I think, to profit sharing, to maybe player contracts with universities, and that's something that has to be incumbent upon the conferences. It has to be something the schools take on. But in terms of the here and now, I do think that Sharon will be a little more aggressive on the recruiting trail. I think Michigan will have probably a better NIL place around him because, quite frankly, they have to. But make no mistake about it, they won this national title that they did with player development and making sure that they had, the right guys. And the right guys might be 3-star guys, but, their ability to coach those guys up. And again, there are guys all over this combine, guys that'll be taken fairly early in this draft from this program that, didn't have those high marks on the recruiting trail. And it's, you got to make sure you develop, you got to make sure you retain, you got to make sure you take care of the guys that are there. And I think that's kind of what the key is going to continue to be for them.
Anthony, of the 18 players at the Combine, how many of them get drafted? And more than anything, really, how many do you think are in the top 4 rounds? How many of the 18 get picked in the first 4 rounds?
Yeah, I'll take that one first. I think they have a core group of guys in J.J. McCarthy, Roman Wilson, Blake Corum, Chris Jenkins, Mikey Sainer still. That you're probably, I think those are maybe your first 3 rounds, the cluster of those guys. And then from there, a lot of it will be depending on the meetings, the testing that takes place this week. If I had to put a number on it, again, some of the lower-ranked offensive linemen maybe get camp invites, but I'm going to say maybe I'll go with 15. I think they will get to 15. I think that feels. And again, the funny thing is, you go through that list, and there's a lot of pretty logical candidates to get drafted. So it just goes to show, with all the bluster, with all the talk about, the signs, Michigan cheated to win. They won a national title because they have 18 NFL caliber players at the combine, and even more of them that won't be here until next year. So, to me, that's I think what all of it goes to show to me.
No doubt about it. Hey, last question for you from me, and then I know Maz has one, Anthony. This J.J. McCarthy situation I'm so intrigued by. Is there any question right now that he's at least the clear number 4 quarterback in this draft, ahead of maybe a Bo Nix, ahead of a Michael Penix, ahead of a Spencer Rattler? I almost said Spencer Raxter because
in the back.
Spencer Raxter's in the back, but I meant Spencer Rattler.
Spencer ain't getting drafted.
But is he at least a clear 4? Because there's a story today out of New York, out of Sportsnet New York, saying that the Giants are definitely going to take a quarterback at number 6. So could you, if not trade up to get one of their top 3 guys, so you could have essentially 4 quarterbacks going in the top 6. Would JJ be that number 4?
I could see it, honestly. And I saw something, I'm sorry, the writer's name escapes me, but there was something in The Athletic that I had just read where the NFL is much higher on J.J. McCarthy than a lot of, I'll say us as a media collective, but not necessarily me, but, he might be in play as early as number 2, and that doesn't mean he's the odds-on favorite. Might not even mean he's the 3rd choice there, but I do think that when they meet with this guy and they turn on the film, I do think that it's pretty clear, if you're someone that has, Williams, May, Daniels in that clear top 3, I don't think there's any question that J.J. McCarthy would be at the top of that next tier. It just seems like as he's declared and people have turned on the film, and really his stock has gone up even without really doing much interviews or athletic testing. And this is a huge weekend for him, but I do, you're not hearing that same conversation about Bo Nix or Michael Penix Jr. So to me, I think he's right now the clear number 4 with maybe top 2 upside. We'll see what happens. I don't know that I believe that, but that's what people are saying here in Indianapolis.
Hey, and last one from me. As excited as I was as a Michigan fan to finally see them win a true national championship game, not something that's been voted on or anything like that. They earned it. And then to see your head coach leave and a new coach take over, a guy that worked under Harbaugh, but a guy I really don't know a lot about. What's your take on this next coming year or 2 ahead for Michigan?
Yeah, well, this year certainly, a bit of a transitional year, but at the same time, most of that defense comes back. You've got, defensive tackles in Kenneth Grant and Mason Graham. They could be first-round picks next year. Derek Moore's a very talented edge rusher, so it's going to look different. And again, it'll be interesting to see the wrinkles that Wink Martindale brings to that defense, because it's not going to look the same. But if they can get that quarterback situation figured out, I think you can talk yourself into them still being in the mix or being a playoff team. Certainly I think right now, if I had to put a number on it, I could see them going 9-3, maybe 8-4. I just still think that schedule is just so rough.
Okay, so it's back to normal then, is what you're telling me.
Well, it could be. They have the chance to be really good, but there's so much change. That schedule is so difficult. Anyone that was giving them grief about their non-conference schedule or what they've played the last few years, water finds its level this year in a big way. So we'll see. I think that things will be stable, but at the same time, it's when you lose that many players and the best coach that maybe you've ever had, there's going to be a natural drop-off, and it's going to look different for sure.
Thanks, Anthony.
My man, thanks so much, Anthony. We appreciate your stuff. We'll check you out on X, on the Wolverine, on 3 as well. Covers Michigan for the fellas there, the Wolverine on 3. Anthony Broome. We appreciate you, bud.
Always a pleasure.
All right, appreciate it, guys. Thanks for having me.
You got it. Yeah, man, it's so intriguing. I think with the Lions being so far back in the first round at pick number 29 and, being in the NFC Championship game and being Super Bowl contenders now and just having the ability to know that your general manager, whoever he selects, is going to pick the right guy for your team, it takes a little bit of intrigue away from the Lions.
Yeah.
But thankfully, you've got all these Wolverines sitting there at the top of the draft, or at least throughout the draft, that it does give you something to keep an eye on, something to keep your interest, something to hold your interest, and something really to root for.
Yeah, definitely. This is one of those years University of Michigan Wolverines won a national championship. Now they have 18 guys at the combine, so it's going to be fun. Not to mention, we're going to have some guys steal the show. Chris Jenkins had a really good workout yesterday. Mike Sanders still jumps 40. 40 is amazing. I don't care what's your height. Maz, 40.
I love the guy.
Vert. See, it's not a basketball 40-inch vert. Like when you do the basketball, you get to do a 3-step drop. You get to do a 3-step drop, then you dump. They got the 46 and all that, but they're taking 3 steps. You're talking about a guy that gets no steps. He just leaps as high as he can and jumps 40. It's going to be fun, and there'll be more coming out of it. And that's, once again, that's because of a guy that is no longer in Ann Arbor. He's now with the Los Angeles Chargers. Strength and conditioning coach Ben Herbert.
Unbelievable, man.
Guys, let me.
Much as I love my teams that they've won,
right?
But I feel now that I don't even know if I can.
Feel like the Florida Marlins a little bit.
I feel like we sold the farm. We sold the farm.
Yeah.
We did.
You
2003.
Seriously, you just kind of feel like the 1997 Florida Marlins a little bit.
Excuse me.
They
Right?
bought it and it's gone. It's gone. We'll see you in 20 years.
Right.
This is true.
Well, the Marlins won 6 years later.
They won
with a
03,
completely
right?
different way.
Yeah.
So
I knew I wasn't
maybe.
It just hurts.
Right.
We got it. It took very long to get the national championship. I'm okay with it.
I know. I kind of like, look, we got our
I see you
championship.
in
We got
20
the
years.
real championship.
Yes.
Now everything's. Let's say Ohio State wins the national championship this
Who
year.
cares?
They
I'm
won't.
like, I don't think they will either. But let's just say they do. They spent $13 million in the offseason. They spent more money than any team this offseason. It's like, fine, go ahead.
Because you know what
Take
sucks.
your championship. It's not real.
You know what sucks about it now. You know
It
what
doesn't
sucks
count.
Now what sucks about it is you got to chart the route, the road to
Right.
the national
How
championship.
did it happen?
How did it happen? Who did you beat?
Right.
Because if you don't beat the teams or teams you recognize, the teams that are really like that or that you believe in, it's like I don't care. You beat Ole Miss.
Braylon-
You beat Mizzou. You beat Florida that was decent. Like no, that doesn't count.
That's exactly why I took such offense to. Remember that story when the video of Michigan watching the college football playoff viewing happened?
Scared of Alabama.
And that they were so exasperated that they didn't
Play
have Florida State.
Yeah.
I was in that room at that time. That is not what happened.
No.
And everybody, to a man, I think wanted Alabama for that reason.
100%.
If you play Alabama and Nick Saban,
It matters.
the SEC, nobody could take anything away from you. And then you move on and you play Washington. Nobody can take anything away from you. You went Ohio State, Alabama, Washington.
Throw Iowa in there.
Throw them in there is fine.
Iowa.
But there's no O in Iowa. They can't play offense. But you went that route. Nobody could take anything away from you. And you just know right now if Michigan wins the national championship by playing Florida State with no quarterback, it didn't count. You had the easiest road ahead. Give me a break. So I totally agree with you. I do want to ask you guys before the top of the hour hits, before we break at the top of the hour here, how about that report out of New York? That the New York Football Giants, it is the worst kept secret in NFL circles, that they are going to not only take a quarterback, but they want to trade up to take a quarterback. A $45 million a year mistake in Daniel Jones.
I don't know if he's a mistake. I don't think they think he's as good as what they can get.
Well, that would be a mistake.
Okay, it's a mistake.
I
I'm trying to keep the Danny Dimes, on an even
You
plateau
like
here.
Maz, you're a nice guy.
Send him to the Jets then.
You
And this
always-
report, by the way, this is a local report from NFL reporter for Sportsnet New York, which is
You got rid of Danny Dimes for Tommy DeVito. Knock it off.
right
Knock
coming
it
from
off.
Connor Hughes. Who is reporting that. The Giants want a quarterback. The Giants are willing to trade up for a quarterback. But will there be a quarterback to trade up for? So it feels like maybe the Giants want to take one of those top 3 guys. But again, are you going to trade up and get a Drake May?
If they like him.
You have Drake May. His name is Daniel Jones.
100%.
Hey, Mel Kiper
Same
loves Danny Dimes. Mel Kiper likes him better than J.J. McCarthy. So Mel Kiper, I give him something, man. He's been doing this a long time. I know he's made some mistakes. We all do. But if Mel Kiper thinks Danny Dimes is better than J.J. McCarthy, I don't know. He likes Drake May, though. And there's people that don't like Drake May. Who the hell knows, man?
Right. It is, and we talked about this yesterday, not to rehash it, but you can find anybody to like anybody and anybody not to like anybody. I am definitely against Drake May. I definitely don't see him being a franchise quarterback in the NFL. I feel like he's like a Mason Rudolph, a Mitchell Trubisky, one of those guys.
My biggest thing is since we've been doing this show, 2021, since we've been breaking down quarterbacks in the draft, breaking down quarterbacks that get drafted into the NFL, I've always said the same thing, Ryan, Ermanni, and Maz. Tell me if I'm wrong. I got to see them compete at the highest level in college. And every once in a while, you guys will find a diamond in the rough. Say, hey, what about Josh Allen? Okay, name me another one. Same thing with Drake May. I haven't seen him win his conference. I haven't seen him win big games. I haven't seen him do something where I'm
North Carolina quarterback.
100% it's a North Carolina quarterback. Look, and I love Mac Brown. Mac Brown was a great guy. I played against him in the Rose Bowl. I wish I would have went to Texas after hanging out with Mac Brown. He was that good of a recruiter. But it's North Carolina. And I'm not dissing North Carolina because I love UNC. But it is what it is. You have to win in college to win at the next level. You just have to. And then you can give me 4 quarterbacks. You may be able to find 5, but you know how many quarterbacks I can find you that have won in the NFL, that won in college? The list goes on and on and on and on. And he's yet another guy that didn't win in the collegiate level that we're trying to give a chance to because he's 6'4", or 6'5", prototypical. He stands in the pocket, has all these passing yards, blah, blah, blah. He didn't win in college. He's not elite, and he hasn't shown you in a big-time game. This is why I'm going to draft him. So that's why I agree with you, Ryan. I'm not in on Drake May.
I'm going to do a little Caleb Williams here for you, okay? Bear with me. Is that okay?
Please.
All right, Caleb Williams he's not going to allow all 32 teams to see his medical records. He sat down today with Chris Sims and Mike Florio of Pro Football Talk. Here's what he had to say.
One of the things I love, and he knows me well, I love it when somebody's in a position to push back a little bit about everything that goes on here. You decided no medical testing.
Yep.
What led to that decision, and what kind of reaction, if any, have you gotten?
I mean, obviously, when you start doing things that's not traditional, whether you're at a school like USC.
And I support you 100%.
Yeah.
Trust me.
Whether you're here at the Combine that's been going on for I don't know how many years, but a long time.
Right.
And so I'd say the main thing has just been, it was a decision with my family and my team. And it really came down to not all 32 teams can draft me. So I give all 32 teams.
Yeah.
My personal medical things, there's nothing there. Played all 30, how many ever games I played.
I don't even remember you being banged up like the
never,
slightest.
I've never came off the field unless my helmet came off and the ref took me off.
Right.
And so, my thing has just been, give it to the teams that are going to pursue me. So on my visits, I'll be doing medicals, but just decided not to do it here.
And it sounds to me like there will be a filter on where you're going to take visits. So let's be realistic about the teams that have a chance to get me. Why am I going to waste my time and your time to do all these things that aren't necessary because I kind of know where I'm going to go? It's fair to say?
Yeah, and in a sense, I have an idea of where I'm going to go, not the place, but the
place spot area of the draft.
We know the spot.
You're going in the top 2 picks. You're going number 1, bro.
Yeah.
Just to let you know, you're going 1. It's already done.
Yeah.
So that was
Chris Sims and Mike Florio.
Yeah, and afterwards, Mike Florio put out there on Pro Football Talk. We just spent 10 minutes with Caleb Williams. Condolences to the Vikings, Lions, and Packers. This guy is the real deal, and the Bears will have their first franchise quarterback since Sid Luckman. I did like him in that interview as well, and I think he is absolutely that. Now that I've been critical of Caleb Williams, that is a smart and savvy business person right there that won't give his medical
representing
to
himself
all
as well.
32 teams. I do appreciate that sort of savviness. That's good.
What did I say yesterday?
You got it.
I said yesterday, I said there's so much in terms of the media kind of like putting out a narrative of him. Like, what do we really know about Caleb Williams?
Nothing.
Like that he cried in his mom's arm. I'm a mama's boy too.
I kind of like it.
Congratulations. I've cried on my mom before too. Not in college, but I've cried on my mom before too. That makes him a bad guy. The only thing I think people really hate about him is two things. One is his father. 100%. And two, I think they hate the fact that he says he may come back because he doesn't want to play for Chicago Bears. Newsflash. Eli Manning said the same thing.
Say it.
John Elway said the same thing. In fact, John Elway got drafted and went to New York.
Yep.
He hung out with George Steinbrenner until eventually
he signed a deal with the Yankees.
until the trade was made with, I want to say, a player, a lineman out of Northwestern in Denver. I remember that, man. I can't think of his name. So we really don't know what Caleb Williams is. It's been a lot of media narratives going on. There's that word, Ryan, that you hate, the narrative. So we knew that he was going to come here and he really was going to have a chance to be able to talk to these teams, talk to these people. Chris Sims is somebody that I don't like. For Chris Sims to say it's the first time I ever agree with anything he said, I do like Tom Florio. So, hey, look, man, he's a guy that is elite when I saw it. But there were some reasons why last year you could take a look at him and say, hey, look, I don't know. He didn't operate in this point. He looks like this. Here are the numbers, 100%. But it seems like Ryan, he's a guy, like you said, has his head on his shoulders. He's a good guy. Once he gets away from his camp.
Right. No doubt. I like
you had the numbers yesterday.
I still
feel
the way I feel about Caleb Williams. I'm just talking about I have the ability to not hammer the guy for everything he does. I think this specific thing is a good thing. And I think he's absolutely right about this. I think we talked about this. Was it Monday or Tuesday? I don't know. Maybe you were here. Maybe you weren't here.
I was at Monday and Tuesday.
Were you here when we talked about the painted fingernails?
I was not.
Okay,
that's Wednesday.
I want to ask you about that. I think that's a problem. I don't like. I understand society and I understand like acceptance and everything like this, but there's an idealistic view of NFL locker rooms, and then there's the box over here. It's called a realistic view of NFL locker rooms. Yeah. And I don't think that plays in an NFL locker room. Do you?
Nah. And look, I will say this. This is coming from somebody last time I was in an NFL locker room. Ryan, this is an amazing question. Last time I was in an NFL locker room, you're talking about 2014. So last time I was in the locker room.
So 10 years ago.
10 years ago. When I was in the locker room, it wasn't acceptable. Like, it wasn't acceptable to have your nails painted pink or, black, whatever the color is. It wasn't acceptable to have your nails painted for whatever reason, whatever cause you want to support. There would be eyebrows raised, whether fair or unfair. It is what it is. This is just the truth. And I think to a certain extent, even though there's a lot more leniency, there's a lot more understanding, if you will, certain places, Ryan, are still certain places. A men's locker room in the NFL, still a men's locker room in the NFL. And I think there are a lot of people that still come from an older tradition. Even when Odell was doing all the dancing and stuff, and he was doing it online, and it was a little bit feminine, if you want to say. It was some questionable stuff. I defended Odell because, hey, he wants to have a good time. But some of that stuff, I'm like, that wouldn't have slid in our locker room. I do think that is an issue, Ryan. But once again, college, 18, 19, 20, what you see on your favorite rapper do, what you see your favorite rapper do when you're in college, I think when you become a man, I think when you get in the NFL, I think these things, they go away. But it is and could be a problem. That's something he wanted to continue doing.
Well, we were talking about it just in the context of leading men. Yeah. Because you
can't point me to do a route and I see your fingernails painted. You can't say, hey, when you run that go route, I need you to make sure that you stick here hard and then boom, take it up on a 45-degree angle. All I can see is fingernail paint. What the hell is wrong with your fingernails? Right. I can't listen to that. Right. And I feel bad if anybody out there has a problem, but it's just the truth.
But again, we're not talking about society. We're talking about
an
NFL locker room, okay? And I think even NFL locker rooms have progressed and certainly
they haven't progressed that far.
But again, I do think there is a limitation there. And when you talk, I think one of the intangibles as to why my belief system says that Caleb Williams is not going to succeed in the NFL is because I think he is going to have a hard time getting people to coalesce around him. I think that. Now, I'm not going to be proved right today, and you're not going to be proved right today. It's just my opinion about one of the many reasons I have in doubting Caleb Williams as a pro.
I think that whenever the team drafts him, let's say it's the Chicago Bears in this instant, when he gets in the locker room, the Chicago Bears, he's definitely going to be greeted by Montez Sweat. He's definitely going to be greeted by DJ Moore. He's definitely going to be greeted by TJ Edwards, Edmonds, etc. Insert veteran player here in the NFL. Hey, look, man, we're glad we drafted you. We saw what you did at USC. You're lights out. You're a stud. Can't wait to have you. Can't wait to see what we can build here. Don't bring that pain and fingernail, you know what, here. Don't. I promise you that's the conversation you're going to have. 100%. This is how guys are in the NFL. There were conversations had about me when I got there to Cleveland. I had some of the veteran guys come up to me. We don't care if you drive a excuse the hell out of me, $200,000 car. We don't care about
you. Played in 2005, not 2020.
Here, it would be $200 million, 100%. We don't care about the cars. We don't care about the earrings. Yep. Leave all that maize and blue stuff. In college, when you get here, you're a man, you're a Cleveland Brown, we're going to operate a certain way. Like, these are the conversations that you have with your number one pick. 100%. Like, Trent Dilfer, like, I don't like him at all. Some of the stuff that he said when we first got there, he had some valid things that he said, some valid things that he pointed out to me as another guy that was drafted in the first round, I think, at Fresno State, man.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, 100%. So these are conversations that you have, when you draft, because your job is to help him in the process. Your job is to help him, not deter him, but help him.
Did you see what Greg Cosell said about Caleb Williams?
He kind of agreed with you.
Yeah, well, Greg, in and of it, yes, but no. So Greg Cosell, senior producer at NFL Films,
100%. I love
he
Greg
was
Cosell.
On the Ross Tucker podcast, and he just said, look, I hope we have learned our lesson about talking about these generational talents. Didn't we learn our lesson when we were talking that way about Trevor Lawrence? And Trevor Lawrence is not some transcendent player. Trevor Lawrence is not better than Peyton Manning. He is not better than Tom Brady. He is not better than Eli Manning. He is not better than any of those guys. And all I heard was, if Trevor Lawrence was taken in the same draft as Peyton Manning, he would have scored higher than Peyton Manning. That is blasphemous. And I almost think we as a media, but even some of these NFL experts, they set these players up to fail. By comparing Caleb Williams to Patrick Mahomes, that only sets Caleb Williams up to fail. Because if you don't attain or reach the level of a Patrick Mahomes, then you have failed. Because you come into the league and what was it, Mel Kiper? I think it was Mel Kiper, or
said what?
Said that he has a better draft grade than any quarterback taken in the last 20 years.
Ooh, I don't remember that one, but it sounds like a Mel Kiper say.
Something along those lines.
Okay, yeah.
Something along those lines. Took quarterbacks who are currently in the league right now. And maybe it wasn't a Mel Kiper, but it was one of those type guys.
But and with those ratings, Tom and excuse me, Maz. Every time I call you Tom, it sounds weird.
It is weird.
Whenever I say Maz and Ryan, grades change because the aesthetic of a quarterback has changed. The aesthetic of positions has changed. Like, they're running pro-style offenses more and more. The elite speed that you see out of a quarterback, getting in and out of situations, offensive coordinators implementing different offensive systems that they're getting from Kyle Shanahan, that they're getting from Kyle Stefanski. So their grades are higher because they're so more advanced than those quarterbacks were back in the time. Doesn't mean they're better players. It definitely doesn't mean they're better players. Hell, switching sports, what do we talk about all year ad nauseum in basketball? Talking about the unreal, and you hit this nail on the head, the unreal expectations put on who? They're saying Victor Wembanyama is the greatest recruit of all time. He's the greatest talent ever to come into the draft. They're saying better than LeBron. Do you realize, whether you like him or not, Maz, do you realize what LeBron has done?
Oh, yeah.
As much as they talked about him being the chosen one on Sports Illustrated, as much as that was put on him, he's actually overachieved what was put on him. So to put that on Victor Wembanyama at 19, he's way more elite than this. You're setting him up for failure, but that's what we do.
He's doing pretty good though.
I told you he was gonna make. He didn't make the All-Star game, which I thought he would have, but yeah, it is what it is. I thought France would come through. It's a small country, but anyway, yeah, man, we put these unreal expectations, but it's just the next guy up. Whenever you have a guy take off in the NFL, the next guy in college football is going to be that guy. It sucks, but that's what it is.
Yeah, it is what it is. This is so interesting to see this quarterback class because you've got Caleb Williams, Drake May, Jaden Daniels, J.J. McCarthy, Bo Nix, Michael Penix Jr. That's 6 guys right there. And if you believe some of the scouts that are out there in Indianapolis right now, they like Spencer Rattler. Who is the #1 high school player in the country, #1 recruit, went to Oklahoma, didn't work out at Oklahoma, went to South Carolina, wasn't all that great at South Carolina, but people like the tools apparently. Now, whether that works out for them or not, we'll see, but you're talking about 7 quarterbacks right there. But even if we call it 4 or 5 quarterbacks, 6 quarterbacks really, if you're adding Penix, Nix, McCarthy, and then the top 3 at the draft. You're talking about those 6 guys. How many of them are going to work out? We just went through a draft a couple of years ago where you had Zach Wilson,
Justin
Fields, Daniel Jones, Mac Jones,
Trey Lance,
and all of those guys are looking for new teams.
Right. The 2020 was a great one. The 2020.
What was so great about the 2020
Wasn't that Tua and Herbert?
Tua Herbert.
Tua Herbert. Go on and on.
Okay, but you're talking about 2 guys.
That's 2019.
You know what I mean?
19?
I
thought there were more quarterbacks in that one.
The 2020 was Joe Burrow.
There you go.
Tua and Herbert. Okay, so that was a really good draft. But after that, I mean, it is really difficult. You know, in 2021, you're talking about...
Well, wasn't Jordan Love in that one? The 2020?
Yeah, he was.
That's another one.
Jordan Love and Jalen Hurts was too.
Yes, he was. That's what I'm saying. It was an amazing
second round, right? Amazing. But okay, so in 2021, you've got Trevor Lawrence, you've got Zach Wilson, Trey Lance, you've got Justin Fields, and Mac Jones. 5 quarterbacks in the top 15.
Basically, it's just a crapshoot. It seems like the offensive coordinator, the offensive schemes in college are getting much better. Much better. You're getting the talent in these schemes. You're getting the wide receivers. You're getting the running backs. You're getting the dual threat. It seems like the schemes are really good. Meanwhile, the quarterbacks that are producing these numbers, that are getting these stats, mind you, may not be as good as the offense shows.
Let me give you the stats. All right, guys, we're going to take a break. When we come back, each NFL team on ESPN, their writer, the title of the column was one free agent that every NFL team should sign. Who was it for Detroit? Big name player. We'll have that for you next. But first, a message from JB.
Hey, Planet Fitness is your home of the judgment-free zone where anyone, and I mean anyone, can feel comfortable and work on their fitness goals. At Planet Fitness, you'll experience a squeaky clean gym with tons of equipment, a full-body workout in just 30 minutes, and all memberships include fitness training. Now, you get all of this with no commitment for only $10 a month. But remember, no matter where you are, there is always a Planet Fitness nearby with more than 50 in the Metro Detroit area and thousands more throughout the world. Find your local Planet Fitness today, or as always, check them out online at planetfitness.com.
Tuesday, March 5th, when you're either done working out or before you work out, you can meet Big D Energy at the Michigan Green Industry Association event with Alta Equipment. Neil Rule and Darren McCarty, they're going to be live on Tuesday, March 5th from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Come by the Suburban Collection Showplace in Novi. Featuring the latest products, technology, and services from exhibitors, including everything for your home, lawn, and garden equipment, chemicals, hardscapes, irrigation, the whole works for your property and related equipment and services and much more. The Michigan Green Industry Association event with Alta Equipment and Big D Energy. And then, hey, Ryan, after they're done with all that and probably before the workout, can they get what about getting something to eat?
Man, you got to go right to the steak shop, Fairway Packing Company, for over 50 years, for over 60 years. Fairway Packing has provided Michigan's finest hotels, restaurants, and casinos with prime beef, Wagyu beef, and dry-aged beef. You can experience the Fairway difference for yourself today. All you got to do is visit the steak shop in Grosse Pointe Woods on Mack Avenue for grab-and-go steaks. If you can't make it in person, you can always order online, fairwaypacking.com, fairwaypacking.com.
Every year, after a cold and dreary winter, Metro Detroiters come together for two things: Tigers baseball and the best damned party in the world. A new season of Tigers baseball is here, and we're bringing in the new season as only Woodward Sports knows how. Broadcasting live from the biggest party. It's the Grand Slam Festival at the Detroit Opera House. Come party with 4,000 Detroit sports fans, starting with Wake Up Woodward and rolling into Big D Energy. This is a party you don't want to miss, with Detroit's best DJs, food trucks, and of course, shots. Get your tickets now at GrandSlamFest.com. 21 plus. See you April 5th at the Grand Slam Fest.
At work and at home, we're there with smarter security solutions. Featuring complete automation with customized alerts and more. For over 90 years, we've been the company that's been counted on to protect what matters most, all with personalized service and care. Right now, for a limited time, receive a free video device plus free installation with a new home system. Guardian Alarm. We protect Michigan.
Stop searching for a vehicle and start finding one. Les Stanford Chevrolet Cadillac makes it easy. We harness the power of multiple dealerships and own the biggest selection of GM brands in the area to get you the car you need. With the Les Stanford Group, you'll have access to 4 different dealerships, providing you with more makes, more models, and more choices. We're connected to more than 1,000 vehicles. And with so many high-quality CPO vehicles available, you'll find new car quality at pre-owned prices. You can start and end your search at lesstanford.com today.
Big Boy Seafood Fest is sailing in with a fresh catch of favorites. Dive into fish and chips, our new palm-crusted cod, perfectly fried clam shrimp platter, or a delicious fish sandwich. Try our new mango iced tea, the ultimate complement to our popcorn shrimp, our all-new fried pickles, shrimp alfredo, or shrimp stir-fry. Experience all the sea has to offer every Friday night with our all-you-can-eat seafood buffet. Every day is a fish fry, only at Big Boy.
You smell that? That's Brad Holmes cooking, and the off-season smells good. Woodward Sports.
Hey, gang, let me tell you about Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. Walk into any Lady Jane's for an award-winning haircut experience and register for your chance to win a trip of your dreams, an all-expenses-paid suite for the 2024 NCAA tournament. That's right, no expense spared for you and 5 of your best buds. Head on into Lady Jane's. It's open 7 days a week. You can walk in anytime. It's wicked awesome.
All right. Thank you, Ryan. How about it, man? Give your pet the best. Do not settle for less. Premier Pet Supply, Michigan's, hands down, Michigan's best pet store. Family owned and operated for over 30 years. 13 Metro Detroit locations, and they got 60 brands of food for your pet at the lowest prices available. Nutritionists there to answer any questions, and curbside delivery. Give your pet the best. Give them PremierPetSupply.com. Pete?
And I have some good news and bad news. The bad news is insurance rates are going up across the board in Michigan. The good news is Swiss Insurance is here to help. Right now, more than ever, it's critical for you to have your insurance reviewed, and Swiss will make sure that your carrier does not slip in extra fees or raise deductibles. Call Mark at Swiss Insurance today or visit SwissINS.com and tell them that Woodward Sports sent you.
You guys hear that Marvin Harrison no-show today?
Yeah. I mean, I think he can no-show.
He did.
He's one of the guys that actually can no-show.
No-show in what sense?
He was supposed to talk to the media today and didn't show up.
They won't hurt him.
No, nothing will hurt him.
It won't hurt him.
I don't even, heaven forbid, I don't even think an injury would hurt him. No. I mean, I think he's that good. I think he's the best player in the draft when it.
I do too. Speaking of an injury,
he and Brock Bowers.
That Kool-Aid McKinstry. Remember him?
The DB from Alabama.
He has like a broken foot that he's been healing, trying to heal.
Oh, he's trying to.
Lions are definitely taking him.
Definitely taking him.
Sneak the old.
He's got a lion written all over him.
They're taking him for sure. There you go, guys. Fun story on ESPN.com. They wrote something. Key free agency moves for all 32 teams. One free agent each team should sign. Do you know who it was for the Detroit Lions? Yes, guess.
All right. It's a guy that I would take. I'll let Braylon go first.
One free agent the Detroit Lions should sign. Don't put it up yet, Pete. Let him guess.
I'm going to get it wrong. I mean, Jalen Johnson, I don't know.
Maz?
There's one guy. He goes on the opposite side of Aiden Hutchinson. Chris Jones.
Oh,
Here it
Hassan
is.
Reddick.
Chris Jones is the player that the Detroit Lions should absolutely sign. The Lions are a Super Bowl contender with a healthy amount of cap space, so they're going to get linked to every top defender who's available. I might as well give them the best one out there. And the player who happens to fill their need for pass rushing 3-technique defensive tackle. Jones ranked second among defensive tackles in pass rush win rate last season, and he had a highest double team rate at 72%. If he makes it to free agency, he would be a huge addition for the Lions defense and could be the difference maker who finally brings them a Super Bowl. What people were talking about when it comes to Kansas City is that they can't pay both. They can't pay Chris Jones and L'Jarius Sneed. Which one are you going to pay? The younger Sneed or the older Jones?
First of all, I didn't know we were living in Willy Wonka Chocolate Factory in fantasy land. Then I would have said Chris Jones.
My name is Willy Wonka.
Yeah, exactly. You want to tell me if we want to play that game? Yes, Chris Jones. Put him in the interior. He's not even on the opposite side. He's in the interior. You saw what he did this year in the playoffs. You saw what he did last year in the playoffs. You saw what he did when they won 4 years prior to that. We know what type of wrecking ball Chris Jones is. I thought you were talking about individuals that the apps actually had a chance to get.
Well, as he said in that article, he could have put out one of those, but he's like, we might as well put out the number one guy that they should go for.
Oh, exactly. Right. In that case, yes, it's Chris Jones. But you know you're not going to get Chris Jones. Chris Jones has got himself into a situation with the Kansas City Chiefs. You see, when you win, everybody gets more of the apple. You look at the commercials. You look at all the other things. Chris Jones will take less to stay in Kansas City because you have another chance at a Super Bowl championship. Now, I understand Detroit knocking at the door, and this definitely will put them over the hump. This would be the splash that would actually probably get them maybe number 2, maybe number 1 in terms of Super Bowl odds going into this coming season.
Oh yeah.
I just don't see it. L'Jarius Sneed, look, that young defense that you already have another knockdown cornerback over there. You have an all-pro safety. You can take a chance on L'Jarius Sneed go. You can't take a chance on letting Chris Jones go because you see what they did. They went on the road this year, dominated Buffalo. Chris Jones dominated that defense line. They dominated the
Ravens.
The Ravens.
They block passes.
That's what I'm saying. Like, if I'm, but you.
How many more years can you get out of Chris Jones? He'll be 30 in May, or he'll be 30 to start next season. He's 29 years old. He'll be 30 next season. Look at a guy like Aaron Donald. Aaron Donald will be 33 years. So Aaron Donald's got 3 years on
4 years.
And Aaron Donald, what did he do? He won a Super Bowl 3 years ago, or 2 years ago. Three years ago. Still at his tip top. Still was up for MVP, defensive MVP that year.
How many more Chris Jones years do you get out of Chris Jones?
4.
Exactly.
But he doesn't even play that much. So it's not a situation where you're like, oh my God, he's 30. He's not going to be the same guy. He doesn't play that many snaps. You literally can pitch count him and snap count him. You don't have to play a ton of snaps. They're playing the long game in Kansas City. You saw Travis Kelce this year playing the long game to get to the playoffs. Once the playoffs come, you turn the notch up because you're so used to being there. So if I'm the Kansas City Chiefs, I definitely let L'Jarius Sneed go and I pick up Chris Jones for those 4 or 3. Hell, you can do the 3-year deal. Chris Jones is a must-have for the Kansas City Chiefs, but there are some other options out there. Brian Burns, Hassan Reddick out of the Philadelphia Eagles is a great option. He's a guy I think would fit in. And shoot, this is a guy that isn't a free agent, Maz, and I keep bringing him up. It's Khalil Mack. Khalil Mack is a guy that I think fits well. I think $17 million is what he'd be owed. He's a guy that fits into the system like a Jim Harbaugh, a Dan Campbell type guy. Last year he got older, but guess what? He found 17.5 sacks last year. He found 70 tackles, which puts him in his top 3 years he's ever had. Still getting it done, still has a high motor, and he's a guy that can help Aiden Hutchinson out. He's got to help this team out too.
I'll give you 10 guesses. I'll give you 10 guesses. You won't be able to tell me who the highest paid defensive lineman is in the NFL, defensive tackle. Give you 10 guesses. You won't even be close.
Who is it?
You won't even get the team.
Who is it?
I'll start there. Just give me the team.
Tennessee Titans.
Nope.
Cleveland.
Nope. It's not Aaron Donald. He's number 2.
I know.
Philly.
Nope. You can give me a little beat,
San
JB.
Fran.
Give me a little beat for this because it's like a Jeopardy situation here. Nope.
Not San Francisco?
Nope. How many teams is that?
Quentin Williams.
It's like 6.
Nope.
What is Quentin Williams?
Quentin Williams is 3.
I was
close.
going to say Jets, too.
I got close.
All right, how about Jags?
Nope.
I'm giving you teams that don't make sense.
I'm actually thinking of the players. I'm trying to figure out the player. Oh, Dolphins?
Nope.
Nah.
How many
Denver?
teams? Nope.
Patriots?
Nope.
Who the hell is it? I'm tired of
No,
this.
keep going.
Chargers?
Nope.
Raiders?
Nope.
Chiefs?
Nope.
Saints.
No.
Bengals?
Highest paid
Steelers.
highest paid defensive tackle. Nope.
Steelers don't pay anybody.
Cincinnati.
Nope. You got any
Lions.
guesses, JB? No.
Vikings?
Nope.
Nah.
Packers?
Nope.
Bears?
Nope.
I knew it wasn't the Bears, but
Atlanta?
Nope.
no.
Tampa?
Nope. Nope. I told you, you can't even give me the team.
I haven't
let
given
alone
a team.
the player.
Does this team exist?
I'm almost done.
Yep.
Seattle?
Nope.
Commanders.
Nope. Hey, the Washington
Commanders.
now for the real question.
Who?
Okay, you've got the team.
Sprinkle.
Tell me the player on Washington who is the highest paid defensive tackle, and put that phone down.
No, because
I don't know anyone on Washington.
He has a funny name, I think.
No, he doesn't.
Who the hell is it?
Give me his initials.
DP.
Dan Patrick.
Isn't that something? Darren Payne
Holy
makes
crow.
$31 million a year.
To not make the playoffs.
Darren Payne, the highest paid defensive lineman in the league.
See, deals like that are why the Commanders are where
Absolutely unbelievable. 4-year, $90 million extension Darren Payne got last year.
He's a player.
So
though.
in 2023, he made the highest salary of
That was
any
good. I like that game.
defensive lineman. Is that something?
That was great.
That was, well, I mean, you automatically assume that Aaron Donald is the highest
Or
paid.
the big teams. San Francisco with that line. Philly.
At least a playoff team.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, it's wild. Chris Jones made $20 million last year.
How much is he really going to make this year?
$32 million.
Okay. Let me ask you.
Okay.
Be honest
Say
with me.
hello to the bad
Say
guy.
hello, man. Listen.
He's got to make more than.
Why not pay him that?
Chris Jones has to make more than Darren Payne, doesn't he?
Okay, why not pay him that then? If you're Detroit.
Well, if you're.
He's a sure thing.
Braylon would be able to speak to this more than anybody. If you're Chris Jones, you have 3 Super Bowl rings. You know that Kansas City can't pay everybody. So, now that you've got your rings, do you go out and make the most amount of money you possibly can? As a football player, I think you have to. This isn't baseball, where you get $400 million contracts that are fully guaranteed. You get your guaranteed money, and then that's really
Well,
it.
what's your
The
wife
crapshoot
saying?
after
What's
that.
your kids saying? That's what you're doing. You got to ask your family. Do you want to stay here and live our life? Or do you want to go take a chance and go move to Detroit? Or go move to Buffalo? Or go move to New York? I mean, that's what you do, right? That's what you do as a family, man.
Yeah.
That's what you do.
But I don't know. Maybe the wife says you got 4 years to make the most amount of money you can possibly make for generations of our family.
But God, man. And I don't mean to step out, but how much money do you need?
You'd be surprised how fast that goes, Maz. I'm just saying.
I mean, come on, man.
But you make $20 million. You know who we should get on here one day? Jacob Turner. Remember Jacob Turner?
Yeah, for the Tigers.
For the Tigers, former number 1 overall pick of the Tigers.
Yeah.
He's now a financial advisor.
Okay.
And he has a great feed on Twitter, on X, about don't be bamboozled into seeing a $20 million contract thinking that player walks away with $20 million. Of that $20 million, Chris Jones might walk away with $9 million after taxes, after agent, after after paying everybody.
Sure.
And again, $9 million is great, but that's not $400 million guaranteed like a baseball player.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I know. But you're talking to a guy that's I'm robbing from Peter to pay Paul. I can't change a quarter.
I understand.
And you're going to give me
that.
$10 million clear. I'm going to be like a pig, and you know what?
I understand that, but that's just not their reality. That's not their reality. I mean,
haven't heard that term in a very long time, by the way. It's a good one.
You know, no matter where you are in life, somebody's always got it better than you, and somebody's always got it worse than you.
Of course.
You know, it's just one of those things.
That's why I say I'm happy.
Right, exactly.
Just give me what I get. And
that's it. You know,
if I can
for a
make
lot of
that,
people, that's just what it is. So
I always I always dream of the lottery. Who don't dream of the lottery?
Right.
I don't play it because I just think it's a waste of time. Maybe once in a while, my sisters will get us
what
all
is it
together.
Right now? It's up pretty high right
I don't
now?
know. I don't know. It's high.
Actually, I think it's a big number.
Yeah, I think it's around 6, 7.
Yeah, it is what
tonight?
it is.
Today's Friday.
Mm-hmm.
Mega Millions. Let's see where it's at tonight.
Let's see what we got going.
Let's see what it's at. The Mega Millions tonight, $607 million.
I'm like, okay, if I win $607 million, I take the payout. Figure I get
about
$250. I get $250. Then I got to pay my sisters, give them $1 million each. I got to take care of, my close friends, give them $1 million each.
How many sisters do you have?
I got 4 sisters.
That's not how it works, by the way.
That's how I would do it.
Yeah, that's not how it works.
Well, I'm just telling you, that's how I would do it.
It's only so much you can give as a gift, correct?
Well, I'm going to give to my immediate family and friends. I'm going to take care. Might not be $1 million, but I'm going to take care of them. I will.
Those trusts.
I will take care of them.
Sure.
And I'll be smart with the rest of it. I'm not going to live in the $20 million house. I don't need it. I can live in the shores and be happy.
You know, Warren Buffett still lives in the same house that he bought in 1958 for $31,000.
Why not?
That's something.
Why not? I don't need much.
He also has a runway strip and a plane outside.
Yeah.
He's also got
I would buy a 100-inch TV.
He bought the entire city.
He didn't tell you exactly. He said no one lives
right.
around.
I would have a movie screen TV. That's all I want. I don't need anything else.
For NFL games, for the NFL Network replay on Wednesday nights.
That's it. I'll watch Better Call Saul, Breaking Bad, Sopranos. I don't need anything.
Maz will pull up in the Maybach.
Guys, we'll take a break. Come right back around the NFL. But first, a message from Guardian Alarm.
That's correct, everybody. What happens when you see that black and yellow sign out in front of your house? It tells the bad guys one thing.
Stay out.
That's right. It's a new year. Let Guardian Alarm offer you customized solutions from real experts, 24/7 professional monitoring and technology backed by people. Your safety and security deserves technology that's been proven to work and by people who are proven to care. Call 1-800-STAY-OUT. That's 1-800-STAY-OUT. Call them today and tell them Woodward Sports sent you.
Yes.
Stay out.
Hey, Rye Guy.
Oh, let me tell you.
People need a car, you know.
Oh, man,
after
we
they get
got
their
it
alarm
for you.
set up.
Absolutely. We got it for you. You want a Chevy? You want a Cadillac? You want a Buick? You want a GMC? Les Stanford has it all now. They have all 4 GM brands under the Les Stanford umbrella. That's right. The Buick GMC store located in Ferndale on Woodward Avenue, just south of 9 Mile. And, of course, if you're looking for a Chevy or a Cadillac, Les Stanford in Dearborn, where they have been on Michigan Avenue for over 55 years. You could find the brand you want under one umbrella. All 4 GM brands live there. LesStanford.com, LesStanford.com.
Together, let's drive.
Let's ride. Let's drive.
Every year, after a cold and dreary winter, Metro Detroiters come together for 2 things: Tigers baseball and the best damned party in the world. A new season of Tigers baseball is here, and we're bringing in the new season as only Woodward Sports knows how. Broadcasting live from the biggest party. It's the Grand Slam Festival at the Detroit Opera House. Come party with 4,000 Detroit sports fans, starting with Wake Up Woodward and rolling into Big D Energy. This is a party you don't want to miss, with Detroit's best DJs, food trucks, and of course, shots. Get your tickets now at GrandSlamFest.com. 21 plus. See you April 5th at the Grand Slam Fest.
Big Boy Seafood Fest is sailing in with a fresh catch of favorites. Dive into fish and chips, our new palm-crusted cod, perfectly fried clam shrimp platter, or a delicious fish sandwich. Try our new mango iced tea, the ultimate complement to our popcorn shrimp, our all-new fried pickles, shrimp alfredo, or shrimp stir-fry. Experience all the sea has to offer every Friday night with our all-you-can-eat seafood buffet. Every day is a fish fry, only at Big Boy.
A ton of fun, a ton of sports, and a ton of man meat. Welcome to the Woodward Heavyweights, live daily 5 to 7 p.m. on Woodward Sports.
Come to Lady Jane's for an award-winning haircut experience and register for a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to win an all-expenses-paid suite for the 2024 NCAA tournament for you and 5 of your best buds. Lady Jane's open 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. It's wicked awesome.
Hey guys, it's Maz for Big Boy. Seafood Fest is back at Big Boy. Catch it while you can. Dive into their new fish and chips, the new Parmesan-crusted cod, perfectly fried clam strip platter, or the delicious fish sandwich. Every day is a fish fry at Big Boy. That means tonight, don't forget it, every Friday night, it's the all-you-can-eat seafood buffet at Big Boy. You can bring the game Jack Labrador with you and play this. Rock, paper, scissors has never looked better. Jack Labrador, 2 new symbols, and a 3-point play. Franchise-changing 3-point play. Go to that code right above my head.
I love it.
Click on that. It'll take you to this game right away. It'll tell you how to play it. It's jacklabrador.gg. There's 3 other games you could play. It's the Motor City Showdown, Spell My Name, and Pink Slip. It's jacklabrador.gg.
All right, welcome back. Absolutely, Woodward Sports Network. Hopefully you're having a great Friday. Going to be a great weekend. Looks like. And
I'm enjoying our show.
Monday, it's upwards of 70 degrees. I'm enjoying spending time with you today as well.
Amen.
Absolutely.
Good stuff to talk about.
Hacking up a lung over here.
No doubt. Well, you're doing okay. I know you're fighting through it. A bit of a tough day and a tough couple of days for you, Bray. I appreciate you being here today. Tom Masway, shall we go around the NFL? Lots to talk about.
I don't see why not.
Yeah, I think so.
I don't see why not. Let's start you off with, this is the one thing since I was a kid that always bothered me about football. I always looked at the chain gang. 2 old guys holding the chain, first down, 10 yards.
Didn't that one guy snap his leg?
He did. He got his leg snapped. Anyway, they run these guys out. They run these guys out to measure for a first down. I'm like, how the hell do they know where they're sticking the one end and then the other end? Exactly from where they were to on the field. Anyway, the NFL is now looking into perhaps finally moving up from the old chain gang, perhaps with some lasers or I don't know what the hell else they can do. But I always just found it funny that these guys just run out. They got to pull the chain to see how close you are to the first down. How do you know they're putting it in the right spot?
You know what's interesting, too, about that is is this college I'm thinking about? But the clock stops on first down until the chains are moved?
Yeah, that's college.
It's college. It used to be like that. Is it still like that?
No, not in the NFL.
Well, yeah, college used to be. I think college might
College
change
still
too.
is like that. They'll stop it and then they'll start it again.
Yeah, if you get a first down. That's going to change. There's some college rules we can go over, too.
Well,
but anyway, the chain gang might be on its way out.
Yeah, I just never understood that too, man. I agree with you 100%. It's like, how do you know the exact location? That's one of those situations where I think sports betting is influenced. I'm like, hey, he didn't get that first down. There's no way in hell he got the first down, or it's no way you guys didn't give him what he got. So, yeah.
And if you look at the television, they tell you the yellow line is not official.
Right.
I got news for you. That's way more official than 2 old guys running a chain out. Anyway, I go on.
The 2 seconds of fame, man.
The Eagles, remember how excited we were? Like, wow, the Eagles just get everybody they want. They went out and gave up a 5th-round pick to Tennessee for Kevin Byard, all-pro safety. Well, they cut him today.
Cap casualty.
Cap casualty.
Hey, look, man.
But Kevin Byard's out there. We don't need a safety, but he's out there for somebody.
You make those moves like that, you're only making them for the season.
Yeah,
you're really
right.
trying to make them look. You're
Exactly.
You're trying to strike while the iron's hot.
Exactly.
Chase Young's situation, try to strike while the iron's hot. If it doesn't work,
We got Bruce Irvin, right? We got Bruce Irvin and Tyler Alua. So, it's fine. They got us to the end, right?
Bruce got a second one.
They got us to the NFC Championship game.
That's awesome. Vikings are releasing the running back Alexander Madison.
That's why they got rid of Dalvin Cook.
Yep. He never really lived up to what they thought he was going to
be. Everyone knew that. Like, Dalvin Cook was a guy that, when healthy, is giving you 1,800 yards from scrimmage every year. Why would you get rid of that guy? You didn't even have to pay him that much. He gone.
And the Chiefs release, this is no big deal, right? Marquez Valdez-Scantling will now look for a new team. Probably wind up with the Jets like Pete told me the other day.
Yeah, they should release all their wide receivers except Rashee Rice.
Right. We showed you Kirk Cousins' rehab going well. The Commanders are looking for a new stadium, as we all know. FedEx Field is falling apart. Matter of fact, FedEx has taken their name off of the rights of the stadium for the last 2 years. They're going to try to build a stadium, and Washington, D.C. has gotten a bill through that will allow them to go onto the old RFK stadium site, knock it down, and build it, and they'd be back in D.C.
How about that? You're so bad. We don't want to associate you with you so much. We're going to pay you not to have our name on your building.
FedEx says thanks, but no thanks.
Right. That reminds me of the line of you ever see Moneyball with
100%. Billy Beane talking to David Justice.
He's like, I'm not paying you $8 million. The Yankees are paying you $8 million
to not play there.
To play against them.
That movie was great.
Oh, I love it. I can't get enough of it.
Yeah, that's one of the best sports movies.
I can't get enough of it.
The modern,
Jonah Hill stole that show.
He did.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
That might be the first movie.
All weird and stuff.
They all are at the end of the day.
I know. They all go.
Such a shame.
Yeah. How about this was something that we all knew about Lions fans a few years ago. The Lions tried to trade for Rob Gronkowski. So what did Rob Gronkowski do?
Threatened retirement.
He faked retirement. Listen up.
I actually traded to the Detroit Lions, and I called up, and I got the phone call, and I was contemplating if I should retire or not about 2 years ago, and I was like, you just traded me to the Lions. I go, I'm retired. Like, I don't know how that trade can go through, and then 2 days later, the trade never went through. Yeah.
They're going to
trade you? Yeah, I got traded. I told that story before last year.
Never heard that.
Yeah, and then I was like, oh, no, I'm retired. How can you trade me? And I stayed on the Patriots.
I love him. I love him.
That's called a finesse.
Hey, by the way, speaking of Gronk, you see Baby Gronk quit
He retired.
football?
Yeah,
he retired from football.
Baby Gronk
His
has
dad
given
wore
up.
him out.
Yeah, that's what he said. He's like, I'm sorry. He's like, I'm sorry.
How old is he? 13?
Not even. He's like, He's like, my dad forced me to do this, and
he's tired.
Sorry,
He'll be back.
Maybe for the love of the game.
So you gotta take a break, man. I remember running track, playing baseball, playing football when I was a kid. You know, my dad was always a coach. You just get worn out. Like summer in, fall in, spring in, you playing the same sports year round, also going to school, missing out on the fun things that your neighborhood or your friends do in the summertime. You get worn out. I didn't run track. I went 13, and I didn't run track at 15, and I didn't run track at 17. Sometimes you just need those breaks, like space stuff out.
You want me to do the story on the Patriots' former tight end?
Please.
Pete,
you got it?
Pete, do you have the one I just put up into this? It's the.
So this is all from the document. This is all from the documentary on Apple TV. It's really good. I only watched the first 2 episodes.
Aaron Hernandez.
I'll watch more this weekend. The Aaron Hernandez episode is wild. Robert Kraft says,
Now, what is this called again, Ryan?
Dynasty.
Okay.
Robert Kraft. Let me see if I can pull up this Robert Kraft quote real quick,
Netflix
if you don't mind.
they had their own thing on. It was Dan Wetzel wrote it. Dan Wetzel produced it on Aaron Hernandez. There's plenty out there for him. Anyway.
Let me see if I could.
He walks around the locker room and.
Here you go. So here you go. Robert Kraft originally wanted to help Aaron Hernandez in his murder trial. Quote, I found out he was working out in the weight room. I went down immediately and I said, Aaron, tell me, did you do this? Because if you did, I know you must have had some good reason. I'm going to get you the best defense.
How was he working out?
Well, remember he was
still waiting.
Like he was at the gas station. He was running back and forth, because they were trying to put him, indict him or something like that. Yeah. So he went straight to the
facility.
Yeah. This is from Robert Kraft, and he looked me right in the eye, not blinking anything, and said, "Mr. Kraft, I didn't do that. I was in Rhode Island or something." Ooh. And when he said it, I believed him. He actually changed my life and how I look at people. I to this day cannot believe I got snookered into that.
Wow.
You know, it's like...
I believe Robert Kraft, too. He seems like a good guy. Mm-hmm. Hangs out with Meek Mill, so I got to give him the benefit of the doubt.
Oh, yeah, Meek.
And there's
Meek's got some stuff going on with Diddy right now, huh?
Yeah, he's voting for Red. Hey, you better stay away from Diddy.
Oh, yeah.
You better stay away.
Man, Diddy.
Pete, you got that tweet or no?
You know who got Diddy?
Which one?
The one on Aaron Hernandez. I put in the WhatsApp.
No, because you didn't throw it in the chat, so I didn't. On the rundown, so I didn't get it.
Okay, you see Meek coming. You stay away.
Hey, by the way, the Lions finished number 1.
But there's some stuff from Wes Welker in this as well that we're trying to get to. Wes Welker said some things about Aaron Hernandez in his genitalia and how he always was flaunting it in the locker room. And you'd be sitting at your locker, and he would walk right up to you naked and kind of have his genitalia in your face.
As he's trying to conversate?
Yeah, as he's trying to talk to you and stuff. So he would tell Brandon Lloyd to stay away from Aaron Hernandez.
Brandon Lloyd's another one of those guys.
Yeah. So.
Wow. Next subject.
Tom Massaway.
As I was saying, the Lions got an award today. They got awarded number 1 in game day satisfaction. And I'll tell you.
Who gives this award out?
It was voted for by all the NFL fans.
Okay.
They all put in their votes, and the Lion fans got this to be it. And I'll tell you, that game day, it really changed this year.
Awesome.
Didn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, it went from a mausoleum to just an explosion of love.
To be
for
honest
that
with
team.
you, I don't know that it changed because I never went to a Lions game
Oh, I
really
can tell you it
before
did.
this year.
I can tell you it
It was great experience this year, though, I'll tell you.
It's so funny. I always find myself at a Lions game randomly throughout the year, just to support, or we're down there, or Woodward Sports is doing something. You walk over, go to a game. This is the first year that I did not go to one Lions game, and it's the best season they've ever had.
Unbelievable.
Jesus Christ.
I got some more football if you want it.
Please.
True.
You want some more?
You know what? Let me take a break here. We'll come back and we'll close it out. I got one more break.
No,
I'm done. Oh, good.
No.
Good,
That's what I was thinking.
Oh, yeah, good. Okay, good. No. Okay,
What does JB want to talk about? This is the last show, man.
Yeah. Hey, we'll get JB. Let's go to New England here. Mac Jones, supposedly his days are numbered in New England. Word on the street is the Patriots will, in fact, stay at number 3 and draft their future quarterback. There was word before this that maybe they'd give him a chance and then maybe draft Marvin Harrison, but it looks like that's not going to happen. So now we go to Matt Miller, who is a great scout for the Athletic. He sits down with Dan Patrick, and he says the Patriots are in no business. They have no business to draft any quarterback at all. Give it a listen.
Why are reviews on Drake May so varied?
Yeah, I think beauty is an eye of the beholder. And if you look at Drake May, you see, oh my gosh, this is Josh Allen. This is Justin Herbert. He's 6'4". He's 230 pounds and he's mobile. Those are the things that get you really excited. I think what has happened, and I do this as well. We are largely one-person scouting departments when you work in the media. So you're playing catch-up a lot of the time. Once a guy declares for the draft, you start to play catch-up, and we have these pockets of time to do that. So for me personally, the more I've been able to watch Drake, the more some things bother me. You know, the processing speed is not always great. And I think that is one red flag with quarterbacks who've come out the past 5-6 years when they haven't had early success. It's processing speed. You know, we could say that about Justin Fields, who there are times Justin looks fantastic. There are other times you have no idea what's going on. And I think Drake May is really similar in that regard. While not being as fast as Justin, not as accomplished as a runner, but you see some of the deer in the headlights things at times, especially, you know, teams are sending free rushers at Drake May, and he doesn't have an answer for that a lot of the time. So he's going to need a little more coaching and development than I think he was billed as, especially after that great season last year, 2022. They struggled a little bit more this year with a new scheme. He lost Josh Downs until they got Tez Walker, who was, you know, late because of NCAA rules. That offense just looked disjointed, and it definitely affected his game.
Yeah, he didn't lift the team up. And that's, you know, he regressed a little bit, and that happens a lot because you can have a great year and then you come back. You know, Matt Leinart did this. I mean, it's the college football is littered with these quarterbacks who came back. And then sometimes you go, okay, they're not as good as they were. And as you mentioned, Caleb Williams kind of battled through adversity, so he showed you something. I just didn't see anything when I watched Drake May where I went, wow. And if I'm Washington, I'm not taking a chance. If I'm New England, I'm not taking a chance on that because I got a developmental guy instead of I got somebody who's going to play right away.
I said this last night on SportsCenter, and I think everyone laughed at me. I would not take Drake May if I was the New England Patriots. They do not have the infrastructure for a developmental quarterback. Like you just said, you don't have a left tackle. You don't have a wide receiver. We don't even really know what this regime is going to look like right now. Everything is new. I don't think this is the year to draft a quarterback. And you hear the arguments, you may never be up here again. That might be true. I've looked at that roster. I feel pretty good that they're going to be drafting early again. I think we're comfortable in 2025, New England. You're going to be up there again. So I'm with you. I think, you know, Drake is someone where it would be ideal for him to go somewhere. I think where there's either much better infrastructure or where there's not going to be that immediate pressure. You know, he won't last to the Minnesota Vikings, but that would be such a great opportunity for him to sit behind Kirk Cousins for 1 year and then be ready to go. So maybe Minnesota comes up to get a player like that, but I think that's the ideal situation for him.
New England is a shell of a team.
Well, that's why I've been saying
College
that
team.
all along. I mean, that's the one team I would never want to go play for, especially if you're a quarterback. They have nothing at all, and they like he said, they will be back this high next year. They cannot win in the AFC. They cannot win.
Keep Mac Jones and draft the receiver there.
Well, keep Mac Jones, draft a left tackle.
I would draft Marvin Harrison.
Yeah, I mean,
and how you gonna give him the ball? I think the Lions' lowest point in the last 3 years, and obviously there are no low points anymore unless you count the NFC Championship, but there are no low points anymore for the Detroit Lions. Losing to the Patriots 2 years ago was the low point.
Well, that was like a 38-0. What was that? 35-0, 38-0.
That was Bailey Zappi.
Right.
Yeah, to me, man, that was the low point.
Yeah, the Zappi hour.
I was like,
Maz,
what?
Wings, Pistons tonight, Wings tomorrow. What do we got?
Pistons are home for the Cavs tonight. That should be a good game.
Max
Cavaliers
Strus.
are a nice team, man.
Max Strus
Cavaliers
out here
are a nice team. And the Red Wings last night, they played hard, man, but the Islanders just outplayed them, and they got the win and snapped that 6-game win streak.
I will say this. They got the loss, and I feel bad. I feel like I jinxed them coming here and wearing the Red Wings jersey and the jacket. But I will say this. Maz, usually when the Red Wings get down 2 in the past, we knew the game was over, right?
Yep.
They got down 2. They came back. Then they got down 2 again. They came back and tied it at 3. They ended up losing 3-5, but they came back twice and tied that game. I think that's showing you that they are a better team. Got to give them a little credit for that.
I love how you said they lost 3-5.
5-3, excuse me.
Florida's in tomorrow. They play the Panthers, the Eastern Conference champion Panthers, and the Tigers are playing the Phils. Hey, you got a Tigers-Philly score for me?
No.
Tarek Skubal, by the way, will be. Tarek Skubal will be the opening day starter coming up March the 28th against the White Sox. So Tarek Skubal.
A strikeout for Skubal.
He has done a phenomenal job. The Detroit Tigers won 4-2 today.
Did they win 2-4 or 4-2?
The Tigers won 4-2. Joey Wentz got the win.
Oh, Wentz.
For Detroit, it was Maeda on the mound.
Kenta Maeda.
2 innings, 2 hits, no runs, no walks, 2 Ks. Oh, they had a couple of big guys today. Alex Faeda, 2 innings, no runs. Joey Wentz, 2 innings, no runs. Good job. Tigers pitchers 4-3 in Grapefruit League play.
All right, Brad Hendricks is reaching out to you on the line here, and he says, shout out to Ermanni. Great segment the other night on Fox 2 about the scam at the primary. I had the same thought when I voted as well.
Well, I appreciate that. Look, I just think that
I kind of feel the same as you did
every
as well.
vote should be private. Now, I was not asked to verbally share my political affiliation, but you check a box at one table, then you go to the next table, and the problem I had was, there was about 8 to 10 people around me. It was about 5 p.m. on Tuesday. So at the very least, the 2 people at the table know, and then about the 10 people, because here's the deal. There were 2 ballots. There was a stack of Democrat ballots and a stack of Republican ballots. And everybody could see which ballot is being handed to you. So yes, you check a box, but the minute they go,
they put it on top of us.
The minute they
know which one you go.
They know which one you take that one and put it in your slip. Why do I even need a slip?
Right.
You know which ballot everybody can see which ballot you just gave me.
It's worse for me in St. Clair Shores. They asked me, which one do you want?
Now, a couple of people on when I posted that, a couple of people when I posted it said they were verbally asked.
They asked me. So here's the scoop, guys. When you're going in to vote, if you're a Republican, Democrat, Independent, whatever, they should be on the same ballot because it simply says pick one. If you
Did
mess
I show you
around,
my sample ballot?
No, but if you mess around on the ballot, your vote is no good anyway.
Right.
So if you're a dummy, it won't work. But both parties, all parties, should be on one ballot.
Well, on my sample ballot in Wayne County, because before I vote in any election, I go to what the sample ballot looks like. And the sample ballot is one ballot, and it says partisan section, vote for only one.
Yes.
And so I thought I was going to vote on that ballot.
Correct.
Because that was the sample
That's
ballot.
the way it should be.
That's the way it should be. I absolutely.
What's going on with this?
They want to
know. It's not so much about, we live in a political climate these days too, where everything is so heightened. One, there are a lot of crazy people out there, and if you think I'm crazy for saying that, well, you're wrong.
Yeah.
There are a lot of crazy people out there. That's number one.
Ask me.
Number two, I mean, you don't have to be in the news to not want your vote revealed. I mean, even if you, what about if you're a small business owner? Do you want your political affiliation, out there?
It's not anyone's business.
It's nobody's business. And then the democracy people, the democracy. Well, then they say you should vote by mail-in. Then it's completely private. Well, excuse me. I think every vote should be private.
Yes.
Why do I need to vote the way you like me to vote?
Correct.
No, that's not how it should work. So, yeah. There you go.
It sucks.
It's my little soliloquy.
I just thought it's poorly
Thank
done.
you. I appreciate that, Brad.
Poorly done.
Who cares? We know who's going to win.
JB, it's your final day here on the Final Word.
This is true. He's leaving the final word and going to the first word.
So, again, for the people out there, share with the people. You are staying here, just moving shows.
Yes.
Added a job, Total Traffic.
Yes, Total Traffic and Weather. So when you're riding out there in your cars and you hear me, I will be giving you your latest traffic updates, whether there's accidents or, there's a storm or brewing. So,
are you ready for this? Pete used to do that job.
Yeah.
The actual job that he's taking was my old job.
What a great business.
Oh, wow. Look at that. Recycling
Isn't this amazing?
Right, the business.
In the same room.
Right.
The business.
In the same freaking room.
You know what? This is a perfect example, too.
Yeah.
You just, you know what I mean? The business is so small.
Yes.
The same people you meet coming in are the same people you meet
Don't
going out.
burn a bridge.
Don't burn bridges.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Don't burn bridges. It's just
Don't be dumb.
It's a very simple. Don't be dumb.
Don't be dumb.
Don't be dumb.
If you're mad, go for a run. Or go to the racetrack.
Go for a
Go
drive,
bowling.
as they say.
What
Do
racetrack?
something. I know there's no racetracks left.
Do something productive. People out here, you look at these two in the same room.
Same room.
You burn bridges, man. You unemployed real quick.
So JB, give me a weather report right now.
Yeah,
go
give me
to
the
weather.
weather.
Go to
Pretend
weather
like-
on your phone.
Pretend you're a total
Let
weather
me
in
hear.
traffic
Let me
right
hear
now.
a
Give us
JB
a
weather
sample.
report brought to you by Planet Fitness
Give us a
or
sample.
Woodward Sports. Brought to you by Woodward Sports.
Brought to you by Woodward Sports. Let's see.
This is on-the-job training, JB.
I know, right? Pete, I might need your help with this one, but the weather out in Birmingham, Michigan today was 47 right now. That was your high. It'll get to a low of 25 tonight. This has been JB with your weather and traffic for the day at Woodward Sports.
Look at that.
Nice job, JB.
Yeah,
So
JB.
JB is going to leave our show. He is going to go to the morning show with Broder. He's going to be with Sam Flannel and Kool-Aid. JB will do that and then go do Total Traffic. What did I say?
No, I was messing with JB.
Oh, good. All right.
I
Good
called him
job.
a traitor.
JB, we love you, man. Close
Love you,
us
man.
out this week. Go
I
ahead and
love
have the
you
final
guys,
word.
too.
Lock it out, bro.
What more is there to say? Everyone in this room are true professionals. I love all of you guys. It's been an amazing journey and show with you all. I will miss you, but like I said, I'm not going anywhere. I'll still be in the building. If ever you need something, I'll still be around. But for myself, for my man Pistol Pete over there, Pete Spy.
That's right, brother.
Uncle Maz here on the Maz chair. The number one Michigan receiver, Braylon Edwards.
Woo!
And you know it, Lions, baby. The great Fox 2 Ryan Ermanni. This has been Ermanni Edwards with Maz, and this has been amazing. We will catch you guys next week.
Oh, yeah.
Love you, JB.
Love you, JB.